And yes, the red light is off. I'm not making any F1 sort of analogies, but we're live on the CDC Watchalong. Netherlands take on India, and the big breaking news is that India won the toss unchanged, and they will be batting first. And the weather, well, don't ask, because the Indian team has travelled well, taking the sun with them, and it's absolutely beautiful with the SCG right there. I'm Avnish Hegde, Somesh Agarwal as ever, and Anirudh Suresh to, of course, join us in this first part of proceedings of the Watchalong. Excited, nervous, confident? What's the word you want to use as an Indian fan today?
Neither, slightly ambivalent. It's like, ठीक है भाई, ये भी एक game
Let it
है
be.
अभी. Yeah.
It's just a part and parcel of the tournament. 2 points for sure, right?
I mean, if you look at India's history in World Cups of late, at least in the last 10 or 12 years, they have hardly been they have never been upset at all. The closest they came to being upset was probably against Bangladesh in 2016 World T20, where Hardik Pandya had to, somehow bowl that final over and stop.
Dhoni's
Yeah,
brilliant.
Dhoni's
I mean,
brilliant.
Yeah, because I was asking the guys just before we started, when was the last time India got upset about any of the minnows? We could think about the Bangladesh 2007, unfortunately came under Dravid's captaincy. 2019, where Shami bailed us out against Afghanistan, that hat trick.
So
2016,
India's
like
record
you
might not
mentioned.
be as good as New Zealand in terms of demolishing the associate nations, but
Yeah,
still.
that is true.
Yeah.
Now the game will start very shortly, so we'll of course bring you all the updates. Until then, subscribe and of course check out our website. And what I want to ask you was, we spoke about this with Sandeepan yesterday on the watch along, and he was like, we should definitely try out people like Hooda, maybe Chahel. It's a used pitch, but you're thinking it's fine, right? Because you want to have the settled team.
I wanted to have a settled team, but one change, of course, I just wanted
Which
India
is
to
Pant for the
punt for Rahul.
Minnow Basher. He's a Minnow Basher, lad.
So that's the thing, right? I mean, but we need to win the entire thing. We need people who can step up in big games. And time and time again, we're still waiting for that version of KL Rahul to step up in big games.
So will that be today?
This is not a big game, but this is an
I disagree about changes and all. If it's a World Cup and it's a Super 12 match,
Exactly.
and it has the same number of points as the Pakistan match, so you have to ensure that you win it. And we've seen already in this World Cup, if you slip up, anything could happen.
And the rain is just a big factor, so you want to get the 2 points wrapped up.
Yeah, and actually, if you talk about resting a few players, that can be planned during the game as well. If India want to rest Hardik, they don't necessarily have to give bowl him unless absolutely required, right? So they have 5 bowlers anyway.
Correct. And Akshar, of course, just bowled the 1 over, so I'm guessing he'll complete his quota of 4 overs today. And I don't know about the matchups, but they have
I wanted to come to that. So it's actually a very good matchup for Akshar today. 2 reasons. So one is Netherlands have been very poor against left-arm spin in this World Cup so far. If you look at all the bowling types they've faced, left-arm seam is something they've struggled against.
Yeah.
I mean, they're striking around 96, 97 against left-arm seam, averaging around 24, 25. Against left-arm spin, this number is 103, which is the second lowest. And the average is the worst for all bowling types. But one thing is that boundary percentage against left-arm spin has been 32.3%. Okay. Against every other bowling type, they have a boundary percentage of at least 45%. Whoa. So left-arm spin is something they might struggle against. And one more thing is that in the last BBL season, left-arm orthodox bowlers had an economy of 5.3 at the SCG. So
Akshar and Arshdeep,
Akshar and Arshdeep are your key men. You don't have Akshar has to see nowhere than someone like Steve O'Keefe, who has been playing on these wickets for like the last 15 years and
good old
doing
Steve
it
O'Keefe
over and over again. And from Netherlands' point of view as well, Tim Pringle, the left-arm spinner, he might be a handful. His economy rate of 5 is actually the second best of any bowler in this tournament so far. I think Zahoor of UAE is the only guy who has managed to better Pringle in terms of the economy rate, and his economy rate in the power play is even lesser than what he's managed outside the power play. So
some interesting numbers. I just want to ask you, and of course just alert the viewers, if they're watching Netherlands for the first time, I'm sure they haven't because the audience is very smart. We normally associate Tennish Carter, Van der Merwe, all these kind of great, Seeler, of course, comes to mind. Who are the guys who could potentially take the game away from India? We know Bas de Lead is well documented about T20s and all that. Anyone else comes to mind?
So with the bat right now, on form, Max O'Dowd is the biggest.
Yeah.
The guy for them.
Shows
Because,
intent in while opening.
He's been head and shoulders above every other batter.
Yeah.
Colin Ackerman found some form against Bangladesh. He hit a 62, and he's a county veteran, so he's not someone who's not used to facing these kind of bowling. He has faced quality bowling over the years, so he has the tools to tackle these kind of bowlers. There have been some underperformers who have the X factor in them. Tom Cooper is one of them, as we know. Tom Cooper,
who, by the way, we did a podcast with.
Exactly.
And we'll get Pramod on in just a bit, who can tell us more
Cooper,
about this.
The Redbacks veteran, who could have so easily played for Australia. He was probably unlucky to not play for Australia during his prime. Tom Cooper is one guy who's has the X factor in him. He's a very good player of spin bowling, and he could potentially be key against.
And he missed out against Bangladesh, but he'll probably come good.
He didn't. I mean, this was a duck. 0 of 0 balls. So
it's putting it politely.
And didn't they have 2 run-outs in that game?
Yeah, O'Dowd and Cooper. It was such a
bird. Be happy.
And one more name I would like to mention is skipper himself, Scott Edwards. We know just how much he loves his sweeps and reverse sweeps, and SEG, as we know, has these shorter square boundaries as well.
Sorry, I'm just peering to their team because they sing the national anthem. They still have Stefan Myberg and Van der Merwe.
Yeah, but Van der Merwe got injured against Sri Lanka, and Myberg is not playing. Vikramjit is playing. So, and Vikramjit hasn't been in good form. So, as Pramod was saying off air, they could have potentially swapped Vikramjit for Myberg to just add just an extra bit of teeth to the batting, but it's fine. We'll see how we can.
The good that you've mentioned, Pramod, we can actually have him in.
Let's get him on then. Let's get the man on. Going Dutch is what we title the podcast right now. And then you guys can check that out. I mean, it's funny because Tom Cooper was in his bathrobe, and only Pramod knows how he's managed to do that. We'll get Somesh back on in just a bit before the game starts. But Pramod, all the tension and eyes in this game. Obviously, India looking to pocket 2 points. But will it be a stroll in the park, or do you think otherwise?
It may not be, but see, as Netherlands' strongest suit is their bowling. So now that they're bowling first, they have a good chance to sort of restrict them to, if anything over 140, I think will be difficult for them to chase, as they have shown, as he mentioned, as Anurag mentioned, that sort of batting has sort of been there, has not been up to the mark in the tournament. So I think it's good that they're bowling first here. They have a good chance to sort of restrict India to.
Do they have a set bowling template in the power play, or will they mix and match it up? Given
I think today it'll be a good option to bowl Colin Ackerman in the power play. I feel given Rohit's sort of you can say weakness against off spin, I think he might be a good option. And don't forget, he has the best T20 figures.
Oh really?
Yeah, 7 for 18. So I feel he's been a little underbowled in this tournament. I think he's barely bowled 3 or 4 overs, but he's picked up a couple of wickets. So I think it could be a wise gamble to sort of.
Is Fred Clarkson playing?
He is playing. Yes.
Yeah, Fred Clarkson. I mean, I saw him first in the 100 when he played for Manchester Originals.
Yeah.
And he did decently well. I mean, but of course, Netherlands, they could surprise us. We've seen how they did exceedingly well in those qualifiers, and it sets up for a good match. I mean, the weather's all right. I know it's a used pitch. Will that be a factor?
Should be. I think that's why India chose to bat first. Interestingly, they only have the 2 spin options.
Yeah.
But and I think the used pitch also could play a bit into Netherlands' hands.
Yeah.
Because like I said, they have the left arm spin of Tim Pringle. They have the leggy now in the side, and someone like Bastille also is someone who relies largely on his cutters and his slower ones.
Like Rajat Bhatia.
But then he can even crank it up to about 140.
Yeah.
Time to time.
So, but what we have to see is how much of this will have an effect on someone like a Paul Van Meekeren, who has relied on the extra bounce, and we saw against Sri Lanka how he was able to just get it up to the almost like the armpit length of the batters and make life difficult.
Interestingly, both his wickets came of full deliveries. That one was the Yorker and the other one was a leg before.
Guys, obviously the whole chat will be about KL Rahul. We put up a video the last time out from Jamie Alder lambasting KL Rahul. I think everyone joined in, and I'll get Somesh's thoughts when he comes back. But what does Rahul need to do today to really not just get his place, cement it further, but what is it? If he scores runs, people will be like, yeah, it's me.
That statement itself is
okay. I think the only way Rahul gets out of this match without any trolling is if he scores a 70-80 and it turns out to be a very close match and it turns out to be a difference maker, or if he gets run out without he's unlucky and gets run out, and people is like, okay, fine. Otherwise, he's getting
Man,
trolled for
It
sure.
will be just sad if he just chops one on from Brett Class in the second ball. And
Yeah, I think he has a good in swinger as well. So I think that wrapping him on the pads will be what he'll try to do.
But don't you think the SCA should actually benefit Rahul? He likes to play his pickup shot, right?
Yeah.
And we saw even Soumya Sakar how he started the innings off with those 2 pickup shots.
Right, so KL Rahul's going to take the first ball. Netherlands versus India. You're joining us for the CDC Watchalong. Sink it in the sense that you guys can get our inputs as we go along. And we'll bring you all the stats as well from our stats man Anirudh in a bit. But it's going to be a nervy time for KL Rahul fans, I'm guessing, even though it's Netherlands. Fred Klaassen ball, first ball. Oh, it was a good delivery.
Yeah,
It was a good delivery.
That's his stock ball. So he just keep it there, swing it in.
A bit of James Faulkner.
There's butterflies in the stomach for KL Rahul, even though he has like a cool facade, I'm guessing. And yeah, it's going to be a good ball. I know South Africa obviously battered Bangladesh out of the game. It was brilliant from Riley Rousseau. But do we need something there in the whereabouts just to be comfortable? Because if 160, 170 might be a little...
Yeah, I think, they should try to get around 200, with the rains also playing a huge factor.
Yeah.
And, if while bowling, if they're able to get their 5 overs in,
Correct.
and India are ahead, I think, and plus by a huge margin as well, it definitely is a bonus for India for sure.
Let's just take this tweet box. More the merrier. You can, of course, follow us on
Breaking
Twitter.
news.
And Jay Shah has put out saying, I'm pleased to announce BCCI's first steps towards tackling discrimination. We're implementing pay equity policy for contracted BCCI women cricketers. The match fee for both men and women cricketers will be the same as we move into a new era of gender equality in cricket, which is a fantastic move.
Yeah, and India not the first team to do that. I think New Zealand set the trend.
Australia also have done it, I guess. But
So is that Roger Benny already calling the shots?
If it is, it started off well, that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
let's come back to the cricket, what we know rather than what we don't know. But
another umpire in this game is third umpire, so it's just literally strolling down the stairs to officiate this one. And then, honestly, one of my favorite umpires.
coming back to the point, the question you asked, how much do India need to
Shot that away,
Ooh, that was nasty.
and that will probably just trickle into the fence for 4. Yes, it does.
Yeah, back to the point you were talking about, how much India need to feel safe. We saw in the Asia Cup how Hong Kong gave them like a mini scare. Almost kind of, they got to 160-ish after India scored 200 whatever.
Yeah.
So we know that Netherlands have some kind of X factor in their batting that has not shown up so far in this tournament. Largely their victories have been restricting opponents to 115, 120, chasing it down.
The problem is they tend to lose wickets in a hurry.
Yeah.
They're playing catch up for most of the time when they're batting. So I think if they can sort that out, I think they'll put up a much better fight.
But be honest, guys, did you expect them to get out of the qualifiers and make the Super 12s
Oh, nice.
in the group that they were in?
Yeah, what was the group?
Sri Lanka, Namibia, and
No,
Netherlands.
actually, to be honest, my money was on Namibia.
Okay.
Especially
More
after they
so-
beat Sri Lanka.
Especially more so.
And it came down to that game ultimately,
yeah,
right?
indeed.
So, yeah, they find themselves sitting with the big boys now. Let's see how they compete. Obviously, they still have lots of tougher games to crack on in this group. South Africa, Pakistan. There's Pakistan and Zimbabwe, by the way, Perth after this. Hopefully, there's an upset there of sorts because
But
Aka sent me that tweet. I don't know if you guys saw the Park Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
And if you guys know, you know, it's quite ridiculous.
Netherlands are used to playing the big stage this year, especially because they've already faced West Indies, New Zealand,
England.
Pakistan as well, England.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're
Yeah, that's-
overwhelmed with the occasion or something.
That's been the case with most of all the associates. They've had good matches behind them, quality sides. Even Ireland, for that matter, they started the year with a 2-0 series, 2-1 ODI series win over West Indies.
Yeah. Let's just go back to that tweet because I think we're getting into the specifics of it. And then just for your news and information, the BCCI women cricketers, we pay the same match fee as their male counterparts. We established that. Now, the test will be 15 lakhs, ODI 6 lakhs, and T20 International 3 lakhs. Pay equity was my commitment to our women cricketers, and I thank the Apex Foundation for their support, Jai Hind. So, just to get into the numbers and specifics, if you guys are wondering what is the pay per format, and as you can see in that tweet box over there. All of you guys watching, much appreciated. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're getting stronger and we'll need your support, of course, throughout the World Cup. But Pramod, just before I let you go, predictions, please. At least for the first half, and then we'll get you back for the second half.
First half, I'll say first 10 overs, India 75 for 2.
Okay.
That's Netherlands would take it.
Yeah,
They would take it. That's
It's slightly timid, but it's fine. But I just also want to pick your mind about Tom Cooper. You spoke to him.
Yeah.
What was the sense of understanding you got from him? I know they have to say certain things as cricketers and all of that. Welcome back, so. But yeah, just picking Pramod's mind about that podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but Tom Cooper was in a very chill mood. He
yeah.
joked with you saying, "Yeah, Netherlands is going to win the World Cup. If it's going to be an Australian-Netherlands final
Yeah,
and all of
even
that."
I'd spoken to Rolof Vandermovers before that.
Yeah.
He predicted a Netherlands-Australia final. So.
And Anil was predicted Tim Pringle to be introduced early on.
It's a
We're
good-
seeing that.
It's a good move. I mean, India's top three.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like even if a wicket falls, they can continue bowling Pringle.
Yeah.
They would want to bowl him now more so than against maybe Hardik. Surya
Pringle
and
looks
others.
like one of those old British science students.
Yeah, so I mean, so basically, you talk about Netherlands.
Hmm.
I mean, most of the cricketers, I mean, the regular viewers or regular cricket watchers, especially Indian cricket watchers, might not be used to watching Netherlands cricket a lot, but most of the cricketers are proper professionals.
Hmm.
I mean, I think Ackerman and Vandermeer have played for South Africa.
Yeah.
Max O'Dowd has played cricket in New Zealand.
Tom Cooper.
Yeah, Pringle comes from New Zealand. His father, I think Derek Pringle.
No, he's.
I was going to ask you
Somebody-
guys that if he's related there.
Yeah. When his father played Test cricket
Yeah.
for New Zealand, was it Derek?
But Derek Pringle played for England, did he?
It's another thing. But yeah, he has a.
Let me.
Van
Let,
Beek, Logan Van Beek is there.
yeah.
Yeah, all of them have played county cricket, like Ackerman, as you mentioned. There's Ackerman, there's Paul Van Meekeren, who played for Gloucestershire last season. He's also played in the CPL. And Logan Van Beek, of course, he's been part of the New Zealand A team. He was in India a few weeks ago, playing against India.
But Netherlands this year have kind of played some cricket at home. I'm not saying good cricket, but they've competed with the big
Chris
boys.
Pringle, I'm sorry, yeah.
Chris Pringle, who's now match.
Chris
No.
Pringle was a New Zealand cricketer.
Okay.
Derek Pringle was
The English
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So going back to this whole Netherlands chat that you've said, I feel sometimes like they don't get the cricket that they normally other nations do. We saw Netherlands, of course, take on England and West Indies earlier in their own backyard, and Amstelveen this year. And those are the kind of series which will make them iron out their wrinkles and stuff, because you can't expect them to keep coming to an ICC tournament and then punching above their weight, right? So what is the way forward? We'll start with Som and then promote for all these other teams to get better, because like you said, they have the makings of it. But what can take them to the next level, like in Afghanistan and all of that?
I feel, I mean, the concept of tri-series should just come back.
Yeah.
Whenever big teams are playing bilaterals, actually they can just convert it into
That's
a
good.
tri-series, and where these nations are also one of the contributing factors. The contributing team. So that could actually be some sort of make the bilateral. I mean, bilaterals are pretty boring to watch anyway. So that will make that series interesting and give an opportunity for the nations who are just below the top test playing nations to play with the big boys.
Fascinating thought that, because tri-series anyway is just being missed solely.
Yeah, of course, that's a superb idea, but I'd say to grow associate cricket, you need a lot of support from the locals. For example, the series they played against Ireland, ODI series, I think it was earlier this year, last year, that was the first time cricket was televised in the Netherlands.
Wow.
So, I mean, the more home series they play, the more more interest they can generate within their cricket community. They'll see cricket as a possible option other than the regular sports that are always played in Netherlands. So I think if not just Netherlands, for that matter, any other team, like Namibia and all those teams, if they can have interest within the community, I think it will help them grow the game within the country and get more exposure sort of globally.
Yeah. So valuable distribution goes on to say Shariz Ahmed is a player to watch out for today.
Yeah, Shari, a very handy leg spinner.
That's it. What, 7, 8?
No, he's a more or less a tailor, but he whacked a couple of shots the other day against Sri Lanka. Yeah, another teenager, another valuable leg spinner. In fact, Netherlands had another leg spinner last year who didn't get a chance, Philip Bosewing. He was again a 19-year-old fellow, but Shariz has played throughout this year. He's been part of the squad. So, yeah.
Do they have any other slow left arm option apart from Pringle?
They have
Vandermeer
was there, but he's not playing. He's
Not
injured.
playing.
Yeah, he was injured.
But already we've seen 2.2 overs and 3 different bowlers. Pringle was very economical, just conceding 2 in that. Now I think it's Van Meekeren. So India a little timid, but expect the fireworks in some time.
I think good.
I'm guessing.
I think good time to introduce Ackerman, as I said previously.
Yeah.
I think they might actually go after him, and they might actually get a wicket in the next.
So Vasandaran going on to say everyone faves Minnow King, legend Rahul, and Aftermath favorite player. No, mate. First of all, it's Avni. Secondly, King Kohli. What do you mean? I had not given out those vibes yet.
Vasant, we have someone whose favorite player is KL Rahul, and he's a stats.
He's a stats man, and then he had to swallow his ego the last time out, and he also admitted saying, "Forget it, man. KL, honestly, been him."
Even Van Meekeren has an interesting story. If you remember.
Oh, he's gone! He's got his head. He's gone. Hasan Raza doesn't hesitate, and KL Rahul. Is this the demise of KL Rahul, the batsman?
He will review it, but that's how it is.
Now he's actually.
Rohit has
behaving
gone
like a
down.
KL fan.
Yeah. Rohit normally kind of gets it right with his
No,
reviews. He's
no,
told
no,
don't
no.
go for it. Minnow basher or Minnow's being bashed? I mean, I just
Owner was.
for a second I thought that's what they're talking about.
Actually, Van Meekeren also has an interesting story. I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, if you remember,
Yeah.
he put out a tweet saying that he's making ends meet sort of by delivering at Uber Eats. So yeah, so basically that's another thing. Money is so.
You're joking.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow, that's see,
Yeah.
this is why I get promoted on all these
Yeah, so I'm
fascinating
actually,
insights.
I was listening to Dan Christian, who's with the Netherlands.
Netherlands,
He was speaking to Gideon Hay.
Hmm.
So they were actually discussing that most of them have multiple jobs. I mean, apart from players like Max O'Dowd who have like county
Yeah,
contracts.
that is very. That
But
is very
Uber Eats are
common.
obviously there, like neighbors not distinguished. But
Yeah, I mean, I think in these so-called first world countries, it's not the same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're driving a cab or working for Uber Eats, it's still a reputable job. It's not.
yeah.
I mean,
100%.
it's not an apples to apples comparison.
Long pause means it.
So that's the thing. Since then, I think 9 of Netherlands cricketers have contracts.
Okay, one second. The king, guys.
Let's
The
forget about that for a
king. The king.
After that,
Come
no.
on, Virat. Let's do Dutch things. If you know, you know. Oh, he's looking good. All right. So one second. All the chat and Twitter and everything will be about KL Rahul.
But do
And
you-
we're not happy, guys. Don't get Somesh misunderstood or the rest of the boys. We're just calling it as it is. We don't have a personal vendetta against any player. But obviously, Rahul's been really sticky right now.
No, he just want India to win.
Exactly.
I mean, what personal vendetta?
Yeah,
I mean,
and we want the
it's
best
a team
team.
sport. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't. That's the thing we want.
No, but I'm saying sometimes viewers get
Actually, this is the
misunderstood.
thing I want all the fans to move forward, move on from. I mean, it's not about a personal.
Yeah.
It should not be about X player should get an opportunity to lift a trophy. No, it's not.
Oh, pull away. There is a man
It's a
there,
six.
but he's
Oh,
off,
it's a
of
six.
course. Just a spectator in the crowd, lads. Lovely, Rohit. Come on, Rohit.
Do you think Kohli is a bit like Kevin Peterson? In this game, he'll be like, no challenge.
What do you mean?
Because Kevin Peterson was one such cricketer, right? I mean, if there was no real challenge, you would be like, I'll make it.
Oh, like that, yeah.
Seva, basically.
Pratik Kandari, thanks so much for getting involved. Keep it coming. Guys, what do you think about the playing the Hooda/Harshal in place of one spinner, considering spinners haven't been effective, and Akshar and Ashwin batting at 7 and 8 won't be impactful on these big grounds? But it comes back to what you said. You want to have the set 11. Why chop and change? Get
Yeah,
the
and
points.
we can't just judge by one game, and that game was in Melbourne. This is SCG.
Yeah.
The ball is keeping a little low.
Use
so-
pitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, too early to make such calls. If at all any call that needs to be made is about the player that we keep talking about.
Player we keep
But
talking about.
this got a little worse for him, right? I mean,
But the problem is, if you do what you're saying, which is get KLR out and then get Pant in, it's a bloody guarantee that bloody Pant will deliver.
it's not a guarantee, but actually it balances the team out.
Yeah.
Right now, like for example,
I would actually get Hooda instead of Rahul, back
Now-
Hooda 3. And
I know the ball is
KL
moving and all, and
Sorry.
that's why they have
Yeah.
batch delete, but they can actually go with Pringle for one more over. And that
play
is
on the ego.
and that is a thing that other teams can plan as well.
Yeah.
And if you're a lefty in, at least they'll have some sort of rearrangements to make.
Greenwich Gonzalez, thanks so much for getting involved. First time we're seeing you here, at least in the comments of the CDC watch along. KL had the opportunity here to get runs, but got out. Yeah, it's a no-brainer that, but Rohit should play sensible and not attack every ball. But obviously, we've seen him in the last 4 or 5 series, that the intent that he's been showing. Jamie also mentioned the other day that he'd rather take a Rohit like this.
I've just seen Rohit, like he's just waits for 3 balls. And that's after that.
Come on, Ro. But yeah, plenty of more watch-alongs coming your way on cricket.com. Tomorrow we're doing the big one. England versus Australia.
What a big game
What
that
a
is.
game that is. what a game that is.
Also, always, of course, we received news that Matthew Wade is now with COVID.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
they might have
keeping.
Warner. David Warner will have to
Apparently
be-
Glenn-
No backup keeper.
No,
No.
Josh English was there. He was replaced.
Apparently,
by
Glenn
Cameron
Maxwell was seen practicing with the gloves at Junction Oval, so maybe him. But they're
But he-
confident that.
he'll have
But
to
who will
bowl
come
as
in for Wade?
No, but they're confident that he'll.
Cameron
play.
Green.
Oh, short row. That's trademark.
Yeah, Cameron
Green will come in.
He will come
Maybe
in.
open and put Finch down, maybe like he did before. the
But have
series.
you ever seen Maxwell or Warner keep?
Warner, yes.
Warner,
did
yes,
once.
Maxwell, no, but I don't think they'll keep in Maxwell because Maxwell has to bowl. England have host of lefties. They'll need Maxwell.
And
bowling.
I believe Finch also kept wickets during the BBL too, as a backup to somebody.
Finch.
Yeah, I would have Finch keeping. Warner is an excellent fielder on long on.
But Finch will win.
Yeah.
He scored like 120 times. Sorry, Aaron Finch just taking the piss. Ooh,
But
good
Wade
ball
will
there.
play. We saw Josh Dockrell getting COVID and he played a couple of games last time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I
but they
think
didn't play
Wade-
Zampa. It's all about
Yeah.
symptoms
Yes,
and all.
yes, yeah.
We're having a chat about whether Eagle will keep his place because even though he played against Sri Lanka and Dan Weston mentioned in the post-match analysis yesterday that they didn't have that much intent. Let's see if Eagle gets the nod. But yeah, Greenwich, we're talking about this particular chat itself. Do you think England will make any changes? We felt that Chris Wokes was really missing it yesterday, but again, I think England will give him a longer rope. Or do you see otherwise? Chris Jordan's there waiting.
Yeah, maybe they'll just play Chris Wood for one more game. They would want someone to get Warner early, and maybe Wokes' swing might work in their favor because the other two options are Timel Mills and Willie. Now, Timel Mills is a proper death bowler.
Yeah.
But to beat Australia, they have to see the both games.
Would you be tempted to throw on Willie?
Really,
But
But
they have Sam
But
Curran.
then that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sam Curran is like they can start with Sam Curran, Wokes.
Yeah.
Even Wood is there, but I think that's not the change that England would want. They have to rethink the Stokes Malan strategy because they're sort of stuck in that 3-4 where it's like two
Malan has had a terrible 2 innings. So far.
two back-to-back anchors in the T20-11.
But what do they do? Because Malan's always been like proving himself in T20s. I know the last 2 games of this thing, and Stokes is like just a big.
So I mean,
tournament
it's a
player.
tough call, but now Stokes add value as a bowler, so they have to take the harsh call and maybe drop Malan.
And bat him at 3. And you always believe that Stokes should open, but obviously they don't have place.
Yeah, they can bat him at 3 and then play one more batter or maybe one more bowler to just cushion their bowling.
But now with their loss against Ireland, they really need to figure it out very quickly.
So even Hales has had 2 shocking games. That's 7 yesterday,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I think in the first.
And Josh Butler, I think, got out in the first over.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't drop Hales if
Yeah.
Butler himself
Yeah,
is not performing.
that's definitely not happening. We're doing the Netherlands India watch along, guys. We're just talking about other things going on.
Yeah.
The match is just picking up.
We actually
steam.
prepared to we prepared ourselves to talk a lot about KL Rahul, but apparently it's not.
Rajesh, you were going on to say just thought drop KL down, Rohit Kohli open and add extra bowler and spinners and hold on KL. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
but I would add Pant.
Add Pant.
You need batters.
Need batters. You need a left-hander. So Pant, of course, is right there. We've opened with him in the past. The England series comes.
Yeah, but
from
I would
him.
open with Virat and Rohit and then have Pant at 3.
Oh, not Surya at 3. Surya at 4.
Virat at 4.
That's
Don't mess up
interesting.
4-5-6. 4-5-6. I've been doing a very good job.
Don't mess up 3, mate. It's doing the best job there.
This 3 is even better when he's
Sure.
opening.
Yeah, 100%. So both them just easing out, just getting a sense of conditions
Another
there.
wicket here before the power play, and
Now,
really
I mean,
interesting.
If you think about it, the game against South Africa becomes a very big game for KL Rahul. I mean, he cannot just have 3 failures and then, I mean, conditions are foreign whatsoever, but he has to. And it's a big game against a very.
But Rohit
top
is giving him
bowling
full
attack.
backing, so that's the thing, right?
The backing is one thing, but then again, it's a big game because Perth would be difficult to. It'll be difficult against that South Africa bowling attack. And he
again,
has
they'll
to
probably-
click, right?
yeah, and again,
because
they'll
KL
put
Rahul,
Parnell.
again,
Yeah.
almost every player is a confident player, but KL Rahul more so because even after scoring a lot of runs, he's always underconfident.
India,
So just imagine what he would be going through now that he's not scoring them.
India may have to do an English with the KL Rahul probably.
For the South Africa match in Perth, what should be India's 11?
That's a better.
Anyhow, we have tailenders opening, so there are many better options us in the line. Let's take it a game at a time. I think they should still remain with 11 no matter what the result here is. But all that matters right now is India to get the 2 points because we might see rain come into play. India playing Bangladesh where? Adelaide?
Melbourne.
Melbourne. So again, the weather's a little dodgy in
They're
Victoria
playing 2
right
games
now.
in Sydney, right? India. This one and
this
They're
one
playing South African Perth.
South
and
African Perth.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe here.
Ooh, trying to
Misses
heave
out,
it.
misses out.
So Klaasen bowling is second over.
Yep.
India not obviously getting out of the traps as quickly as they
But
like.
are we seeing that thing again? The approach that was prophesized or that was
No.
said that we are going all out attack approach. We've seen in the last game and this game itself.
This is missing, man.
This
Yeah,
is
this is
missing.
This is missing.
This was missing earlier itself. We were thinking the
Same.
Why did we react to that?
Same thing happened in the Sri Lanka.
And we
game.
talk about Rohit giving Rahul backing.
Catch
him.
it.
Oh, go, hold on. It's in the air. And it's the
That's
over
so
down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's dropped the World Cup. What do you think of DLS? Do you think it can be improved with all the data available or some other alternative method can be used? Bro, as long as Ireland gets the results of England, we don't care about
And
DLS.
if our viewers here know how to calculate DLS, please put it in the comment below.
So much
We
actually
answer
does, right? You know some crazy calculation.
No.
You
No.
did it yesterday. Oh no, you were telling me about something else yesterday. What were you telling me about yesterday? The overs or something like that. Were you just doing it on your
I can do net.
net run.
Everyone
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah,
net
that.
run.
That is not the point, yeah.
DLS is we can only ask Duckworth and Lewis, honestly.
Today I was just.
So India playing Bangladesh in Adelaide and Zimbabwe in Melbourne.
Okay. Oh, Sikanda. Guys, South Africa's run rate much higher in the group, but big match on Sunday. Look, points matter. South Africa, of course, not
Yeah.
got. They're on 3 points right now, and India win this. Obviously, they go to 4. Pakistan play Zimbabwe later, and hopefully Zimbabwe win it.
But
Oh,
are we going to see a
God.
packed MCG tomorrow? England, Australia?
I think so. It should
Should be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, these two nations would be embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
The Ashes rivalry and whatnot, and Australia's home ground against England.
Oh my God.
So yesterday's game against Ireland also saw some 25,000 in the NCG.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
it was largely
it
it
seemed
seemed empty.
eerie.
Largely,
Yeah.
I know. I mean that can hold lakhs. So I mean, that's like
Maybe just a good 1,000 Irish supporters. I'm guessing maybe like 2,000, 3,000 Barbie Army fans as well were there. But like with the MCG being the Colosseum that it is, 5,000 also feels empty. So you could just get a sense of how crazy it was during the India-Pakistan game. Saw many vlogs and we'll give you more visuals as well. Virat is obviously had a couple of sighters. Both surprisingly come
it's
back.
a good call to throw it at Rohit.
You know, one of the reasons about Virat and Rohit's partnership not being as fruitful in recent times as we want it to be. I don't think Rohit is a batter who likes to bat with Virat because he makes him run so much. He's like, "Nahi khelna hai
And how many times did these two instigate run-outs with each other in the past as well?
At least
Plenty.
2 times, yeah.
When Rohit went on to score 209 in Bangalore, I think he ran Virat out. And Virat was absolutely pissed. But then obviously Rohit made up beyond belief. 32 for 1, 5.4.
It could have been 30 for 2 by now. Come on.
Will a snack Pringle get Rohit out? Cheeky. It's Pringle versus Lay. I think.
that snack dropped Rohit. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and funnly enough, Rohit has done ads for Lays before.
Rohit never drops a snack, but
Unless it's Vada Pav. But yeah, Van Meeken getting the wicket, remember, of KL Rahul, even though which we just saw DRS going down the leg. But look, if things are meant to be, it's meant to be. Last 3 balls of the power play. Rohit!
Oh, come on.
He's literally
it's the
dancing.
snack again.
He's dancing on thin ice.
Rohit and snack are a love story made in
Yeah.
heaven.
Raja Human going on to say Pant is opener, risk. That's why he said Pant actually should bat at 3. Kohli and Rohit open.
Yeah.
We saw that in Afghanistan against Afghanistan. No.
It was, I think KL and Rohit opened. Rohit sat out.
Yeah.
KL and Virat. Yeah.
KL Virat, yeah, not Rohit.
Yeah, but like Pant as an opener, yeah, could be risky, could not be risky. Let's see. They've got
That applies for everything in life.
runs it down the third man. India would be obviously looking to get something around 150, 160.
Yeah, but
That's
definitely
too less. That's too less.
Netherlands power play this.
100%.
But it just tells us that the wicket is not really easy to bat. Or if these two guys are not able to hit boundaries, then
But also sometimes, I don't know, like, you know, when, like, for example, you guys went to school or college, and if you're taking on your seniors in a sport, you're more pumped up. But if you're taking your juniors on, you're just like, okay, let me just, you
इनको
know.
मारना नहीं है.
Yeah,
मारने के
yeah.
बाद भी लोग
I don't want to be
बच्चे को मारा.
embarrassed. So whether they've taken that policy or not, like, don't know. But last ball of the power play, will Virat go over the top? Oh, no, nothing.
But I don't think professional cricket works that way.
Honestly, hats off to Netherlands. 6 overs, 32 for 1 India.
Now we'll probably see the leg spinner coming in. That'll be interesting.
Yes.
Shari's.
So over the years, which is the side that has been the most dominant against smaller nations? I mean, dominant. I mean, ruthless.
Yeah.
Really?
Because we discussed
I
it,
always
right?
used to feel Sri Lanka is one of those teams who have been very ruthless against. Because back in the day they had a score of 398.
Kenya against
and then they scored again against Kenya itself. They scored
400 plus, right?
in a T20 game. They scored 360.
260.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 260.
Yeah. And then I remember Chamindavas's hat-trick as well. 38 all out, they got someone out.
I mean, of course, the quality of Sri Lankan cricket in the recent years has dropped, but I mean, in late 90s, early 2000s, they were like, they should demolish these smaller nations like either with a bat or with a ball, or just embarrass them.
But there's one game which comes to mind. I think they lost to Kenya in one of the World Cups.
96. Right?
No, I think
No, not 96.
2003. They lost to Kenya. Yeah,
By the way, he's still playing and opening the batting for Kenya these days.
got Arvinder De Silva, all of them. But yeah, we'll
How
come back
old
to
is
that.
he now? 40, 44?
He's not touched 40, I think. I don't think he's touched 40.
Who?
Colin Sabula?
What he was, he was
No.
15 late.
He's bowled against
Late
Dravid,
40s.
Tendulkar, Ganguly.
Late 30s, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I keep thinking about all the international teams. Australia have had slip-ups before against Minnows. 2007 comes to mind against Zimbabwe. South Africa, England as well.
Don't forget, South Africa lost in ODI to Ireland earlier this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was some crazy stat that Akash was telling me. I'll probably pick his mind when he gets on. Where England, Slovenia.
Yeah.
What is that stat?
I think they were talking about a European team not beating another fellow European team.
Yeah,
And England falls into that category.
Yeah, so England have never beaten a European team in a T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost twice to Netherlands and now
once to
one to
Ireland.
Ireland.
Dude, look at the contrast there. I know, like, obviously, left arm spin to left-handers is woeful, but Pringle obviously thrives against right-handers. So far, 9 balls into his spell, so to speak, and 4 conceded. Hemant goes on to say, hi, Hemant, first and foremost. How does the scheduling work, guys? Yesterday, England were on the 15th over, and the next match is supposed to start at 13:30. No way they could have bowled the remaining balls with 12 minutes. Oh,
I think even so they have a rule where they have to have a half an hour break between games, and that's the thing. They've kept a 1:30 schedule if there is no rain intervention and all that. But yesterday we saw,
and
it
today
was a
Bangladesh
start
also
spot,
kind of just got up pretty
Also,
early,
if it's a
right?
1:30 start, the toss can take place up to 1:15, and they'll just have a 15-minute this thing to start the inning instead of the usual.
Yeah.
30.
I like that.
So,
rule.
so the first game can actually go till 1.
Yeah.
Till then they'll start at 1:30.
I like that rule indeed. Right, so Rohits is pretty much dancing in thin ice, like I said, dropped once and then it fell short of the final leg field in the previous over, and now he's tried to drive it through and he kind of got a leading edge. But 37 for 1, 6.5, we really should praise
I said
Netherlands
75
bowlers.
for 2 and 10 overs.
I think India take that right now.
Yeah, I know.
Greenwich Gonzalez, is it pitch helping Netherlands bowlers or is their bowling much better? I think it's a bit of both, but more the latter. I think they've actually bowled really well.
Yeah, it's become a little slow also, given that it's
Yeah.
new, so I think that also is not helping them.
And India know, of course, that they have a lot of firepower to come in. We've seen how Sky just starts his innings brilliantly. Hardik, of course, who sedate the other day, but required such a knock. But keep the comments coming through. More than happy to talk about random things. In fact, let's put the question that Somesh asked us in the comments below. The fact that if you guys know any international team who normally have a banana skin against minnows, who would it be and why? And
This is not the question that I
Oh,
asked.
sorry.
It was actually the opposite of it. Who were the
my
most
bad.
ruthless against?
ruthless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make what you want to make of it. Sri Lanka was a good shout by him. India, I think, for me,
And
never really.
yeah, I think Michael Wagner, whom we had on yesterday,
Hmm.
he actually informed us that New Zealand have actually never lost to an association nation in any of the
Yeah.
ICD events. So maybe New Zealand,
Yeah, maybe.
they've
New
been
Zealand.
more clinical, if not ruthless.
How
Yeah.
many have they played though?
But you think about how they've played smaller teams.
They refused to travel to Kenya in 2003. So,
Yeah, and so did England.
England refused to travel to Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Right?
Zimbabwe, yeah.
If Rahul gets some niggle and has to sit out, where will you play Pant/Huda, opening a middle order? Both are not impressed in the middle order.
First of all, if Rahul gets a niggle, play punt just to have that lefty in, and again,
Back
battle
at 3.
because your 4, 5, 6 is settled. Don't screw that up.
That is true. They're just not timing it. I know Rohit's hit 1-6, but he's got another ball 21 right now.
Rohit's reaction on stump mic would be very interesting to listen to at the moment.
Yes.
It would be like Finch, proper Finch mode. Finch was like telling the umpire, happy to take suggestions on how to hit the
Just coming back to Pratik's question here, because I'm just thinking about it a little bit more. Rahul Dravid and the team management and Rohit, obviously, if say there is a niggle, who's the first person on their list to replace KL Rahul?
For sure.
Pant, right?
For sure, yeah.
Where is Huda in that? Second?
भाई 15 ही player है.
I know. I'm just saying because
उसमें से एक पेसर है.
like how much will they factor in Deepak Huda's bowling over an advantage of Pant, who can just pretty much keep and be like.
I really don't think they will factor in Deepak Huda's bowling because even when he's played, he's not bowled that much.
Only that one West
The
Indies
game
series,
against Pakistan comes to mind, when Nawaz went crazy and they still didn't bowl.
Yeah.
When it was needed.
And he has a good record in the Indian jersey. I think he just lost one game. Deepak Huda.
And again, Huda is not a finisher. They essentially, whenever they played him as a finisher. He's not a finisher. They're trying to mold him as a finisher.
Yeah, but in this case, if he comes in KL, then he'll have to bat a 3 and remain, like you said, keep the 4, 5s and 6 intact. Srivatsan, good to hear from you. Well, it looks like we're already seeing the FX of playing multiple. Oh, short, Rohit, hold on. Hold on.
No, it's
6.
6.
Oh, just. Big rounds, you remember, but good hit from Rohit, and that should release the shackles in some way. Well, it looks like we're already seeing the effects of playing multiple matches on the same ground, but that's what makes it fascinating, right? You don't want brand new pitches all the time. Sometimes you need these.
Yeah, but then obviously all the calculations change because these wickets will then assist spin.
True.
I mean, till now we have had arguments that we've seen that there's no room for spin in this tournament, which is not the case. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
India-Pakistan game was on a fresh wicket, but even if we have multiple wickets on MCG, spin will come into
No,
the
that's
picture.
out. That's close. That's out. Yes.
He's given
It's
them.
given him.
Now will he review this?
He should.
But it's
has
Michael
reviewed
Goff. He normally doesn't
No.
call them wrong.
I think he's hit it. I think that's what he feels.
The only doubt is impact or a little bit of glove.
I think the way he's reviewed it seemed like he's
He's confident.
वैसे भी रोहित एक KL को out करा ही चुका है.
WWE bowled Rohit.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So let's see if this one is a correct decision. I say that because KL was, of course, unfortunate. Van Beek is rolling his fingers over. Seems to be in
It
line.
is in line unless he's.
Oh, he's hit that. He's got a meat to that. Michael Goff. Sorry.
He's hit that with that E of see it.
Man, you don't normally see Michael Goff gets few wrong, but
His bat has
why was Rohit debating it with Virat? He should have gone straight up.
Yes, he
Oh,
did. He was in his follow through and he was like,
So
follow
will
through
this,
and he
will
done
this run be counted though, or is it a dead
no,
ball?
dead ball.
Oh, it's unlucky.
That's the problem. But come back to the
Not even a
pitch-
dead ball. I mean, it's a dot ball.
come back to the pitches and all that. I understand your point. But sometimes to win a World Cup, you need spinners to perform one day, your pacers, your batters to adapt, to just bring out the best,
Yeah.
right?
So that is precisely what we're saying. Huh?
This is out if there's a fielder.
Oh my God, Rohit has
Yeah.
been, honestly, he's,
But then again, the knockouts will be on fresh wickets.
yeah.
So then again, the equation changes. So that's the beauty of cricket.
That is really tricky. The knockouts are where again? Sydney hosts one and Melbourne hosts one.
Adelaide is also one.
No,
Oh.
Adelaide, Sydney have the
And then
semis
Melbourne.
and Melbourne as the final.
Full on test match, Bazi Rohit. Wow, Devesh bhai, thanks so much for getting.
I'll get
Involved.
Anirudh back in.
Yes, Pramod, we'll catch you soon. You said 75 for 2. India, I think, on the course for 75 for 2. They have to have these good 2 overs to get themselves the halfway mark. What have you made of it? Were you here when KL got out?
Yeah.
Oh, you were here. So we've been past that.
I was
We
there.
were actually eye to eye. We were like, it is missing, but then
I swear, every World Cup, there are a few comedic reviews taken. Like, how do you take a review for that? Yeah, for sure. We've seen some of the plumbest decisions being reviewed by batsmen who simply have an ego. I think Saqib today got a plumb in front by Nokia, but he was also tempted, and then he realized, no.
Bangladesh really burned their 2 reviews early on in the
Yeah,
bowling
yeah.
innings.
Oh, here comes a
Oh,
leggy-
here he is. So,
The
valuable
battle for
distribution.
Sharice.
Pramod, Somesh was talking about this guy in the power play, Sharice Ahmed. Let's see what he can do.
Who would start?
Has a little bit of a Kaz Ahmed look of things. I mean, if you guys have
Because
seen
he-
Kaz.
KS Ahmed.
Yes, Ahmed is like more like a jump. He has this jump.
Let's watch his action again and then tell me who he.
Are you confusing KS Ahmed with someone else or no?
Guess Ahmed's that Aussie guy, right?
No, that is
Fawad.
Fawad.
Oh, sorry,
That
Fawad.
is what I thought. You were actually confusing with someone else.
Sorry, me making a lot of mistakes at Chris Pringle, Derek Pringle. Guess Ahmed.
I think that is. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? That is allowed, right? I mean, we are talking about cricketers who are like well past.
So who does he
If
remind
we
you
would have
of?
been 50 years old, we would have
He reminds
known.
me of no one.
No
He's
one.
just a bowler, a leg spinner who's good at spinning the ball into the right-hander, away from the right-hander. We'll see if he's good at
Does he have a good
spinning
wrong
the ball
one?
into the right-hander as well.
Bro, where is Harry Potter? He's there. He's coming. Harry Potter, PJ
Harry Potter is
Woodhouse.
actually doing the live blog today, so you can catch him on cricket.com's website or the app.
Oh, brilliant
well
feeling
played.
that. Well done.
Netherlands,
Logan Van
Netherlands, Harry Potter just made a very good.
Logan
No,
That is
bad lead.
Bastille, right?
That's the lead.
Third Pringle again.
Wow.
So
Guys, are you from Mumbai? No. How do we answer that? Basically, cricket.com is based in Bangalore. I'm
So
from
we are in
Bangalore,
Bangalore.
Chennai, Bhopal, man. So yeah, diverse office that we have
Chennai,
here.
no.
Not really, but
Sorry,
Okay.
Coimbatore. My bad. Apologies. For a second, we.
साला हमारे tier 2 cities है भाई ऐसा नहीं है मजाक नहीं चल रहा है यहाँ पे तो Bangalore was like all tier 1 cities comedy से okay from Chennai भोपाल
do
के
you
आसपास कोई
consider
tier
do
है
you
नहीं।
consider Mangalore as a city, or
Yeah, it's a
what
tier
about
two city.
Udupi and
Town. Udupi is a town. What do you guys make your face
हाँ
for?
ठीक है
Yeah,
मैंने
okay, you guys are like, oh my god, no, how can you
पूछ
say
रहे हैं
that?
यार
and
ठीक है
Hubli?
Bhopal is a city. Indore is a like they're all tier 1 cities.
not tier 1 what is tier 1
Tier 1
just
is like,
below metro
but will you call Kolkata Tier 1 city even though it's
will you call Bhopal sorry Kolkata metro no
How many are there in
Shaunak is
India?
getting angry
Delhi,
in the
Mumbai,
background.
Bangalore, Chennai, Jaipur. Oh, sorry, not Jaipur.
So
Ahmedabad.
what do you think?
What do you think is a good score on this pitch?
160?
160 it got to score at least 160
Yeah.
right
I mean, with
South
the
Africa scored
firepower
200.
India have, with the firepower India have, but you know what? Netherlands have a good. They match up well against the Indian bowling, but
Yeah.
still has no excuse to be.
and
Batting
it would have
this
been better if they had Vandermeer fit
Yeah.
they could have two
Rohit goes. He's not got the full meat of it, but he'll find the. Oh.
I think you were going to say it would have been better for India if Rohit had got out. Would have brought Sky into the picture earlier on.
No,
yeah,
but to
then
be
even
fair-
Rohit has to score runs right I mean it cannot just
Exactly,
always
and don't mind this from Rohit, even though he's got the element of luck. I think he could have been dismissed 6 times on all honesty, but
We are watching on Star Sports 1 HD Pro.
Shivatsan, we don't trust Hotstar at all it just
yeah.
It's just like
gets
the,
stuck
if
and
you're
all
at home and you don't have a cable connection, then go to Hotstar.
Shivatsa, I'll tell you what you do. Normally, what I do for my football watch alongs is I sync our stream, and I say our stream, the cricket.com stream, with the match, so you guys can exactly understand our ball to ball
you can
inputs and
actually
commentary.
pause us and then sync it with your
Yeah.
app.
It's a perfect way, Shivatsa, and trust me. And it goes out to all of you guys watching right now. If you guys are watching us, just do that so we can be aligned similarly. Right now, we can tell you that's just the end of the 9th over, and we're going into the 10th over. So,
India need at least 15, 16 from this over to be on, like what, 53 right now? What is the score? 54?
53 for 1 after 9.
But you remember Sri Lanka were also 60 for 1 against Netherlands after the 10 over mark, and then they went. But they started accelerating after the 8th over itself when Sri Lanka and Mendes got together.
Sorry, which game was that Sri Lanka?
the
Was?
final
Lanka,
group game,
Netherlands.
and
Which
wow,
Netherlands just-
Mendes played an absolute peach of a knock.
yeah
I mean, you could not ask for a better knock.
and Max Odout was
Yeah.
just alone in his battle to chase that down
He played well.
Played well, played decently. That's the lead.
It's been a struggle for Rohit right now. Not Finch levels of struggle, but still.
And actually, all the bowlers have done really well. It's not like one bowler is like,
The
gone for
commentators
runs.
are talking about how this Netherlands
Who's on comms, by
side.
the way?
I couldn't. I don't
If you think
quite
about it,
remember but
if you think about it
Oh,
every
sure.
captain has struggled
sure.
every captain so far has struggled in this tournament. Finch is struggling, Williams is struggling, Babuma is struggling, Rohit is struggling, Butler is struggling, Puran struggled,
Who else is there?
Babar is struggling.
That's a great little thought, dude.
What about Shanaka? Shanaka,
Shanaka
he's
is
not
Shanaka's also
struggling.
struggling. Yeah, Shanaka's also struggling.
Who's Bangladesh's captain?
Shakib is
Shakib
struggling.
is struggling. Oh,
No,
my
Shakib
God.
is back as captain.
Yeah.
Captain's a liability. Yeah,
Except the only exception is Balbini.
yeah Albani.
Balbini played a very good knock against England, and I think he also played a good knock against
Oh, that's six.
That's
That's the
six.
toppage of the C8 blade that he has. And Rohit now
He's not struggling anymore. He's
pressing the
slightly
accelerator.
coming out of that captain's den.
Pressing the accelerator. But yeah, it's a good point mentioned by you there. Navi, obviously, another man who comes to mind, but we
But
haven't
he's
seen.
struggling for a while.
I mean, they didn't play a match yet. So
Yeah.
what the hell? So are you, as an Indian fan, happy with the way Rohit has been playing today, or?
Bro, like he said, the
Okay.
most important currency in cricket is runs. And
Okay,
want that.
I'll put it this way.
I don't want Sky to score runs in the game. He's
Yeah,
save
yeah.
is
I'll put it this
Aram
way. Let's say that tomorrow is the semi-final. And would you be confident with Rohit and KL as your openers, or no?
Yeah. What do you mean we've confident for a year, dude? You can't just pull
No,
the
but
plug.
you are-
अब गया सोचने का time.
Yeah.
Clearly, nobody was confident before the Pakistan game, right? And even the way they,
See,
were tentative
the
against
thing
China.
is, after South Africa, India have games against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. If they have to take a call, it's those two games. If they have to bleed in punt, it's those two games. That's why I keep saying that if India at all want to make any change, next game is very important. If KL doesn't score runs, they have to make that call.
Yeah.
And if they stick with him, then they have to stick with him. Even if he gets out on duck against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, you cannot just make change directly in the semis, and that would be very Kohli Shastri era move.
Yeah.
So Pramod is the closest, right? 65.
Srivatsan saying 140 can be defended here is what I feel. Yeah, obviously India's bowlers will be causing them problems, no doubt. But just like Som and Anil just said, 160 just have that cushion of being like, okay, fine, cool, we can defend it. And obviously Bangladesh, South Africa happen in this pitch, so it's going to get harder to bat on, I'm presuming.
I mean, you're not seeing
You really
any,
got Dookie was there in the crowd, lads.
you're not seeing any turn yet. Like, Pringle has a couple of overs still left, right?
Yeah.
And Shari,
So he has three.
he has 3. We are looking at least 4 to 5 hours of spin of the next 10. And Ackerman might bowl, I don't know. So wide for sure. Was it a no ball?
That's right. But yeah, you can see what Delhi's trying to do here because he's got 4 men on the leg side.
Just don't think.
And Rhodes not timed it as sweetly as it likes. So
I think Van Meekeren will bowl the next over. I just have a feeling he has been predominantly used in the middle overs.
Has he been introduced in the attack yet? Not yet.
He did take the wicket of Rahul.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Okay.
But Netherlands do struggle at the depth, so that's something to keep an eye out on.
Of course, we'll have Nikhil and Samir join us, and they should be on.
They should be on. Just
Pretty
check
soon.
with Crick Crazy Nicks, the man that we always, of course, try to get on our platforms. And we can get Nikhil on with us, and hopefully Samir will join us in due course. Nikhil, how are you, my friend? Talk to me about what we've seen. Rohit Sharma supporting KL Rahul, or has he actually, by not taking everything?
I don't know what happened there. Somebody should have asked to just review for the sake of it. Go by the old school logic. You are not informed. Take a race, what if it works for you, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think Rahul wanted to take it. Similar to what happened earlier, I think Shakib also was clearly pitched outside leg. I don't know why he did not take that review. But again, for the memes, if Rahul is not scoring versus Netherlands, then there is a sign for worry. If you are believing into that. But I think it is slightly tough times for him. Few more failures, and you might look at punt as well as an option because you're not losing much out there. And by God forbid, if punt comes off, then it is going to be like curtain for some time. So hopefully the Rahul score comes along. Next game is the important one. So I think that is a massive one for him. And with respect to start, very happy that India chose to bat first because it's a huge deck. 40 overs already played. In the second innings of the first, you saw some turn for Shamsi and Maharaj. So this should ideally get more slower to bat. And then you obviously have Bapu and Ashwin really to make the most of it. But even for that, you still need around 160, 170.
Yeah, and I think we'll get that inevitably. But you want to ask me something?
No, I just want to. So, Nikhil, this is my assessment. Next game is going to be very important for KL Rahul because definitely he'll play that game. They'll back him.
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't perform, the last 2 games that India have are against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. If you want to bleed in a player, those would be the ideal opportunity. Let's say if you want to do one thing, they'll have to take a call. And even let's say if KL Rahul doesn't perform the next game and they persist with him in the Zimbabwe game, then they have to persist with KL Rahul through to the final no matter what, because it's no point bringing in Pant directly in the semis or in the final, because then you're just setting him up
But
for
will they
failure.
make that call? I don't think so.
They won't. They might not. I'm saying
Yeah.
if at all,
Yeah.
it's part of their plan.
Yeah.
They have to give one more game to KL. He deserves that, at least that bit of hope against South Africa. But after that, if they want to chop and change, they should give Pant both the game against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh to just feel settled and play against.
By that token, India should be hopefully in 6 points where they can forward the experiment.
Doesn't really matter. Even if India lose to South Africa and win all the other games, they'll be topping the table.
What works Rahul's favor is that he's not necessarily being pushed by a guy who has irresistible numbers. Pant himself has played 50 plus T20s, has done literally nothing, and people have the only reason Pant is not in the starting 11 is because he played himself out of it. It's not like he did something great to warrant his place.
Absolutely, for sure.
So, and in the crucial matches in the Asia Cup, the management favored Pant ahead of DK, and it was that Pant failed so badly that they had no option but to just leave him out and keep DK, even though it meant a complete top six full of right-handers.
Yeah.
So,
Nikhil, what do you think about KL right now? I mean, we of course spoke about it in great depth in the last Watchalong, and Gurkila put it down to the fear of failure. Jamie concurred with his thoughts. Is it a combination of that plus him just being timid, him being conservative, him not having that belief anymore in his abilities as we've seen KL do it before?
I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. His previous game, they knew it was new ball, it is not going to do much. So they were possibly just trying to get themselves in. And with KL, I think, to me, a key quote was what he gave in the post-match of the Australia series at home, that after coming back from injury, he expected his touch to be back to him much quicker. But it did not. And he said that that's a good point there. He said, I felt that I could get that into that rhythm much quicker when I left the game. But when I came back, it was just not coming for me. And it only came after a few games versus the game versus Hong Kong. When he hit a very particular six shot of his pads, he felt, now I feel confident. So I think that is something that is happening with him. I think it's happened with Bumrah as well in the past, that when they're coming back from injury, they're probably taking a bit more time to really be themselves in terms of and KL hasn't played too many games. I know he's played enough games for you to take a call in terms of that's another good point.
Right, so 50 for Rohit, his first in I don't know how many T20s and 100 of the stats.
His look.
this is a
Timid, but scored a half century. I think we have Samir Alana who's waiting as well. Guys, add him in.
And it's a perfect time to get Samir on because his Twitter handle is a hit man, and he's a huge Rohit Sharma fan. And he's one
a
of our
huge AY fan, which automatically makes him a huge Rohit Sharma fan. But I think he unlike a lot of weird Rohit Sharma fans, he likes Kohli equally too.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Nice to see you in the blue, Samir. Loving the kit. Talk to you about your beloved Rohit Sharma. Scratchy 50, but nonetheless very important, I'm guessing.
I think he got a couple of chances let loose in the start, catch drop, DRS to start, but
the toxic
Kohli.
No, I love it. But not as much as Kohli.
Actually, he should definitely do. Thank you, Pringle.
He said Rohit has looked patchy, but still is of 50 or 36, and Kohli has looked good, but is 14 or 17.
Oh, yeah. Pratik Kandari put out that comment, so yeah. T20 is a funny game at times, fickle game.
Yes. Yeah, I think just getting back to KL there, I think he probably, as I rightly agree with Ramesh completely there, that he gets the next game, and then even if it doesn't go, but you feel you're not going to try Pant, then you have to give him all games. Then you cannot drop him and then directly bring Pant in the finals and semi-finals, because then you are just throwing Pant in the deep end and saying that it's very harsh on Rishabh as well for to expect him to do that. So I think KL now gets one good score. The next one he then plays all the next hopefully 4 games, and then that should be enough.
Yeah, and KL, of course, did well in that warm-up game. So maybe in the heads of the Team Indian management, they were like, okay, fine, maybe KL's found his feet. Pant had 2 goals against Western Australia, both 9s, which didn't come off very good times. So that was also maybe in their thinking. So, let's get your thoughts on KL, Rahul, because we've all had say. First of all, terribly unlucky for him to not review that one. But what is it with him? Because we've seen him in the IPL kill it for years, but Somesh keeps harping upon the fact that it's been 4, 5, 6 years now where he finds himself a big part of this Indian team, but he hasn't really grabbed the bull by its horn, so to speak.
I think today was the day, we all were looking forward to KL Rahul getting a big innings. And I'm really disappointed, now that he's failing against Netherlands, it just shows the kind of form he's in. But I think that's always been the case with KL Rahul. I mean, every time, he has looked vulnerable in the Indian side, with regards to his form. He has just come up with those performances. Then in the big games, he fails. I mean, leaving the England Test series, where he actually capitalized last year. I have never seen him, capitalize at the big stage ever. It's always come to his form, and even recently we saw, like just when it was getting too much, he started performing in the T20Is, and that's what forced, selectors to believe in him for the T20 World Cup as well. So I mean, yeah, he's just eating up one place, and I do like I agree with Somesh point last time, that maybe we could try Rishabh Pant considering he gives us a lefty option, and I mean anyway, KL Rahul is not going to play in the big games, so rather take up on Rishabh Pant and see, what he has to deliver.
So, मान के चल रहे हैं सब कि
He's not going to play. Shot, Virat. Just do that.
What about the left field option of opening with Deepak Hooda? We saw him do that in the Ireland series. Kind of played at number 3 against England, and he gives you an extra bowling option as well. So,
but India have not tried bowling Deepak Hooda. So I mean, he doesn't give you that bowling option considering India are not bowling him. I haven't seen India bowl him much. I mean, I think once or twice maybe. Otherwise, I've not seen him bowled. So
I think if India are to go down that route, then what I will do is I would play Hooda as an opener, and then maybe drop Akshar and play Pant, and then drop Ashwin and play a leggy, so that you have different bowling options.
Whoa.
I mean, just to add Hooda and give yourself 7 bowling options, and play Hooda just because.
But go for one man, you're replacing
That's what I'm
3
saying.
men.
That's what I'm saying. That playing Hooda is, I mean, it's sort of uncalled for. Just
no,
make
I mean,
one change and.
don't you think he's already shown better pedigree than Pant?
Oh, has he been held out? He has. Finally, Rohit perishes. But look, runs nonetheless super important for the Indian captain right now, because we're talking about all the captains in this tournament being absolute liabilities. But Rohit, 39-53, look back at this when he hits the hotel room later and say, yeah, I got some runs, no problem. But 84 for 2 sets up beautifully for Sky and Hardik. Some Diwali fireworks? Fireworks, right?
I mean, I know it's good for Sky to get some runs, but I won't send him to bat. It's fine.
So who do you send now?
Send DK. Yeah, Akshar is not a bad shout.
It's a World Cup match, Super 12. Why would you not?
Super 12.
No, but just think about it. Akshar is not a bad shout because they have a couple of overs for Pringle remaining, and Shariz has to bowl who's a lefty.
Pringle has one more, I think.
Two.
No, he bowled his third over, so he has one more, and then Sharif has 3. Anirudh Kasargowda, Statsman, which will get
and
to
the local Karnataka boy.
Local KL fan.
This gives me the vibes of the Hong Kong match where India got off to a very poor start, and Sky came in and scored like 70 of 20 odd,
66 or 24 or something like that. Then touching on Nick's point, wasn't Kumble's condition on injury return players valid, get some runs in domestic and then get into the squad? Yeah, but like
we don't do that here.
But look, Nick, I mean, do you think they'll actually go back to that policy? Because it's like an old school thing. It's honestly like a 90s thing.
No one is going back to any of these policies.
Really
these were the policies because of which Anil Kumble was lambasted as a strict taskmaster. Yeah. It's not unfair. It's actually a very valid policy. Yeah. But then it almost in a country like India where the talent pool is such huge.
Yeah.
If at all you are injured, this policy means that you might not even get a chance in the next 3 years.
I don't care if KL is inconsistent. If he steps up, hello, without one bounce of 4. I don't care if KL is inconsistent. If he at least steps up in big games, I'm fine. But he doesn't even do that. When was the last time KL stepped up in a big game across formats for India? I can think
Forget
of
the test
Lords.
Series, maybe LOIs. Limited overs, maybe that ODI series against Australia before the pandemic, where he scored a 90 odd in Rajkot.
KL Rahul fans will be like, what do you mean he did it against South Africa and Thiruvananthapuram? But like that was as slow as 50.
No, New Zealand.
I think WG Grace could have gone faster, to be fair.
New Zealand series, away in New Zealand before the pandemic, he had a very good limited over series across formats.
Bajpai Gautam, good to see you in the comments, mate. City drew last night, just putting it out there. Why experiment in an important stage? India have to win this, stick to something that has worked for you Sky's force brutal. So basically, talking about Somesh's chopping and changing.
I'm just thinking that at some point of time, Aksar's batting is going to be important,
Needed.
and this is an opposition which has a leggy and a left arm spinner. Maybe it's a good shot. By the way, I mean, enough of us. Nikhil, captain कौन है भाई आज fantasy team का?
She's batting.
Virat or Sky.
Maybe
Virat captain and Akshar Patel vice captain.
the
first game.
तब तो फिर अक्सर को भेजना चाहिए था ना अभी.
No, but I'm
So
very
someone is
happy.
expecting a promotion.
Yeah. I think the first game was great for me. So Russo captain, Quinton vice captain, and a lot of games had Shamshi captain vice captain as well. So the first game went very well.
Next, did you pick Maxwell out in your team today?
No, because I'm expecting new ball wicket and Akshar to bowl. So not in my base team, but
I'm guessing it's a 7-4 split, 7 Indians and 4 Netherlands. I mean, Dutch.
yeah, that's yes.
And has any of the Dutch players delivered for you? Who I'm curious to know who you picked in terms of your 4.
So obviously it's Paul and Nikran last leg because they'll be multifaceted. I had Pringle because I expected him to strike. He could have taken 2 catches. That could have also helped. But I think he also bats a bit. Thanks to Pramod for sharing the link with me.
Good run in this. Sorry, next. Yeah, good run.
Yeah, I think Pringle can also score a handy runs later down the order. And of course, we have Scott Edwards up top. So,
Obviously, the reason why we've asked Nick's his fantasy picks is because he normally gets it right. I say normally very kindly. But yeah, if you guys know and you follow him, he's a good man to, of course, give you all the fantasy tips.
Basically, a baby Peter Sealer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't have. I'm sure you would have had KL Rahul in some of the team, right? Given
most
the
teams.
Yeah.
No.
Can you say how many fantasy teams do you make per game?
11. Most likely. It is
What? 1 second, 1 second. What?
Yeah,
Make
but-
11 fantasy teams?
तो तुमको क्या लग रहा था बहुत आसान है ऐसे fantasy
2,
team बनाना?
3, 4 max. यार, who is going to keep? Oh, team 1 है.
2, 3, 4
Team
मेरे को
one
2
is-
ही बनाए.
It's actually very easy because you set up a base team of 6 to 7 players or 8 players who you know are going to play key roles for both sides. So you have
Sorry, Crick
Yeah.
Crazy Nicks. I don't know if you saw that, but it was just cheeky
Yeah.
running. It was just
Cheeky
reminding me
running,
of Dhoni there now.
Chiku की that cheeky होता रहता है ना. So that's okay.
Ray PNB9, we haven't heard from him in a while. Ray, hope all's well. KL should be dropped. Can't have a player who plays so selfishly.
हाँ मैं क्या बोलूँगा? मेरी तरफ मत देखो.
Let's get back to the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, as I said, it's simple. 8-9 players, and then we rotate basis scenarios. Like 4-5 teams for India bat first. Sky comes off in like 2-3 combinations. Openers come off in 2-3 combinations, and then you go the reverse way for Netherlands. So the Ireland game was great because
Guys,
the optional game was also great.
Fantasy 101.
Yeah, Fantasy 101.
Cricket.
Fantasy 11. 101. 11 teams.
Fantasy
Whichever
11.
way. Whichever way it works.
Right, so
But
one
the-
needs to get back into the
Samir,
attack.
are you a fantasy cricket player?
Yeah, I
It was a
actually was playing fantasy and I'm extremely disappointed because KL Rahul was my captain. So
Oh my
I have
God.
double reasons to be disappointed with him. But luckily I had Rohit, Kohli both in my team, so I'm still kind of okay.
But did you make KL Rahul captain of all your 11 teams?
No, I just make one team, sorry.
No, he has work to do. I don't have work to do. So
No,
that's I have enough time.
You are our feature and all those 11 teams are just the
You
one
are
team.
self-employed.
Yeah. May that never change also, but yeah. See, let's go.
I find myself cheering. for
Yeah,
friends I don't want to.
bloody loyalties get affected. That's the
Like,
problem.
हाँ यार वो the experience of watching the games like
That's so,
diminishes.
yeah. That's,
I think there was a time where
oh,
Short. There was a time where I think Som, Shub, and me used to actually make our teams before
That is just
IPL
because-
games,
एक दूसरे के साथ बत्ती होती है.
banter and stuff. But now we've just like binned all of that. It's just like gone begging.
It sort of affects my
viewing
mood as
experience.
well and viewing experience. That's why
Once
I'm
I
not
quick
doing it.
crazy next, talk about your prize money that you've generated. What's the most you won in a game? And then Sameer, you can tell us.
ये
yours
क्या
as well.
बात है? मतलब you're literally
Because
asking him
they're
his
making-
salary.
No, I said, but if you're making 11 teams, one's gonna hit the jackpot at some point in time.
तो हुआ होगा ना?
Get ready to get surprised, guys. Nikhil
Okay.
is coming up with
Yeah.
something.
Go on.
No, I think, see, it's fair. Sometimes you get The max I've won from one game is like 4 lakhs as of now. But it doesn't happen very
Why
often.
do we even work?
But fair enough. It's
But
the guy.
it happens once in a month. You know, you make that much amount once in a month.
Yeah,
On
but
an
what's
average,
the salary of 2 people?
But you
3
also
people?
lose money, right? So it's-
but you also lose money a lot, right?
Imagine you lose that.
How much is your expenditure? Like max $350, $400?
It's not like that. I think my investment ranges from 10K to 20K per game, and then it goes about as per formats and different kind of scenarios. So you try and have at least the last thing that I want is to be break even at the end of the month. That is my aim. I'd rather not win but not lose first because I want to stay in this for a longer run. So you that's your aim. So I try and make like 50K to 1 lakh and above as much as I can regularly to just be relevant because that's all I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So, Samir, are you as lucky as Nick's?
It's not.
I can tell you that in the last 2-3 years of fantasy that I've played, I have lost like 10,000 rupees. And the most I've won is 200 rupees, and that too I spent up in something else, and I lost that as well. So I don't make any. I'm the wrong person to ask this question.
This reminds me of Shubh and his fantasy tragic tales. He's like played a 3-way and
भाई शुभ तो मतलब ये बता रहा हूँ मैं, अगर कल के मैच में अगर उसने ऐसा कुछ इंग्लैंड पे पैसा लगाया होता ना, सॉरी आयरलैंड पे पैसा लगाया होता तो एक और हो जाता, बारिश रुक जाती and England would have been above par.
Yeah. I'll give you 2 samples. Both times exact same things happened. Yesterday in a T10 game, a side needed 2 runs to win, and a guy came in 10% selection, took 4 wickets. I would have won like 6-7 lakhs had he taken just 2. He came on and took 4. I won only 12,000. I mean, imagine going from 4 lakhs to 12,000. And the same thing Azhar Yusuf did in the CPL. I think Chicago needed like 4 runs and they lost 4 wickets. I mean, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Are you crazy? How would you put that?
And how's your luck been so far in the tournament, Nick? Any big wins so far?
And so far, I think the World Cup has been great. More so because I've not taken too much undue risk with form. I think in fantasy, sometimes we try and take the extra risk to win big. But the key is to realize who are the guys doing the key jobs and just back them. So far, thankfully, it's consistent wins as opposed to the one big amount. And you will take those over one big amount because that one big amount will come once. But those consistent wins give you good enough buffer for your future investments.
Yeah, you'd rather be safe than sorry. Samir, how do you do? Do you only play India games, I'm guessing? Or do you play every game?
Yeah. No, I mean I've played some games, but I have neither lost nor win. Like I am on the safe side this year.
You told me you don't play fantasy because of loyalty. When was the last time you made a fantasy?
IPL 2020 टूर्नामेंट के शुरू में 500 रुपए डाले थे ड्रीम 11 में 4-5 मैच के बाद वो खत्म हो गया फिर डाले नहीं छोड़ा.
I used to play in like the head-to-head in my old company, Oscar. So used to win like 25K is the largest amount.
Look at you, mate.
But it's like a one.
Okay. Enough about fantasy.
Rajesh, you've been going to say Chennai guy, come on, something you tell, please. Otherwise, when points comes, at least tell Vanakkam. What a come.
There's actual Chennai guy waiting over
there. We'll get Harry Potter on. In fact, I'll just quickly go get a coffee and I'll be back. Harry Potter, PG Woodhouse, Akash Sivasubramaniam, of course. Substitute, get him in. And I will see you guys before King Kohli goes berserk in 2 overs. So one of you guys will have to make way.
Bring some luck to
So you need
Netherlands.
I have my iced coffee in the fridge.
I'll get it. I'll be back in the 50
What
of
ice coffee you just-
One of you guys are going to be coming out in like
Yeah,
2
put it in the
overs.
fridge.
Espresso in the fridge.
two
Have you
overs.
ordered or what?
No.
You made it.
Espresso
Basically,
machine.
Jugaad, yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you make it right?
Freezer में रख दो.
What, you put that what is strong coffee
Yeah.
and add water to it.
So I mean, guys, Kohli's knocked so far 28 ball 30.
If he
I've vowed to not criticize him ever, so I'm not going to do it. But what about you? What do you guys think?
No, I mean this is the way he plays. I mean, even in the last game, he began slowly and then he capitalizes. I mean, he has done this almost every time. Even in the 2016 T20 World Cup, he used to begin a bit slowly, and then he used to start. I mean, that is his game. So I will not criticize him. I have never criticized him even before his 71st turn, and I'll not do that even now because I know this is his game and this is how he prospers with the bat.
The only thing is that of the last couple of years, his slow starts have become even slower. He never used to start this slow like in 2016 or something. Maybe we would see him bat at 120 odd and then ramp it up to like 150,
But
160.
there's one thing I've learned from Kohli is, I mean, being a CSK fan, is don't ever trust him to get out cheaply. He's going to make some 90 of 40, 90 of 50 in the end. So till then, you just wait.
Yeah.
He'll end up with a 50 or 60. I mean, 50, 60 easily in the next
Harry, tell
two
Vanakkam.
overs.
Rajiv
Yes, Vanakkam. I've become the Harry Potter. I don't know why. Now I have more names than my name.
Yeah, Akash's list of names in the office keeps on growing.
Yes, I think you're talking of Kohli. I think it has been a talk for a while. As you rightly pointed out, the starts have gotten a bit slower. It is more a runner ball now as opposed to what it was earlier. I think a lot is also got to do with him starting more versus spin as compared to pace. But I think, as Samir said, even in last game, he was the one who's holding an end while Hardik took the attack first. And then, like even today, when Rohit got out the next over, very first ball, he hit for boundary. So he's just trying to play that role that, okay, if somebody goes, I'll take one. But so now again, he doesn't have to go every ball, but he knows Surya will invariably go hard. So then you don't need two risks from both ends. But I think gradual acceleration.
Yeah, but I feel these kind of knocks work better in second innings when you know what you're chasing. In first innings, there is an argument to go slightly harder because India are like 2 down with 5 overs to go. They have like almost twice the number of wickets remaining as the number of overs. So I mean,
yeah,
this is not a time to hold one end or
Yes.
just let the other do the hittings, right? I mean,
Yeah.
What I feel is at times Kohli takes a lot of calculated risks, whereas Rohit just take risks, and there is a situation for both those things. There's a place for both of them.
Yeah. But I mean, did you read the Sky interview where
Amazing interview.
the best part about it is his understanding of the game? He said that even if if somebody gets out in the team, my only thing is to score a boundary and
The
put
next
pressure.
ball. The next ball.
Exactly,
Yeah,
put
yeah.
pressure on the opposite.
Yeah.
That's something that India are like slowly getting at. I think with T20, Samson is again one player who does that. Immediately puts pressure on the other team, and probably in the next year or so we can see this kind of approach from teams.
Yeah, it's a very good interview, guys. I mean, in Cricket Monthly, Nagra just taken that interview. It's a very, I mean, personalized interview, if you can call it. I mean, Sky has actually given a glimpse of his approach, his mindset,
and his life struggles,
and actually how his partners helped him all along in his journey, which was a very good read, at least as far as I feel. I like such stories when I like stories about practical couples.
Practical. No, I mean Kohli also is practical. You can't say that about Kohli.
No. I mean, this is not comparison. I'm just saying this is just I'm taking it as a
of course.
one-off.
Best lead.
So 5 overs left. 175. What should India be aiming? 180. If they get 50 from here, it's
175 at least.
170,
Get from here
175.
with the number of wickets remaining.
Best lead.
If Surya stays, I think they get more than 180. 185.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have Hardik to come, so
Yeah.
we can
We have Ashwin.
So Raji Human is asking, before the World Cup, all the batsmen are firing. Now, what has happened? Anything about the conditions? So I think Raji is a used wicket. Already one game happened before this, and the impact of it was visible early on. Rohit was trying to play a few shots, but it was not coming to the bat. And of course, Sky, it doesn't matter. The pitch doesn't matter to him. So
Masterfully bisected.
Yeah. Trisected almost.
Trisected.
So, Samir, at this point, who do you think is the MVP for Mumbai Indians? If you have to pick just one.
I think it's Surya Kumar Yadav only. Very honestly, the way he's batting. I mean, even this season, at the start of the season, Rohit Sharma never turns up with the bat for Mumbai Indians. That's not that's not something surprising for anyone who has watched IPL over the last 4-5 years. That he has not turned up with the bat more often than not. So of course, like Surya Kumar Yadav was Mumbai Indians' trump card. And I was surprised with Ishan Kishan's form. I mean, he was very indifferent. Some games he looked really good, and then in other games, he would struggle to get going, and he would get out. So,
Do you think there's a case for Mumbai actually releasing Ishan Kishan and probably buying him back? Because definitely he won't go for 15.5 crores in the if he comes in the auction.
He will-
I think there are a lot of teams who will be eyeing him because I mean, see, look if you look at him, he's 21, 22 years old. He's a wicketkeeper batter. He fills up two positions in any side he walks in. Plus, he can also be seen as a future captain. And if you look at Mumbai Indians right now, I mean, Jasprit Bumrah is 27, 28, but he's injury prone. Surya Kumar is on the wrong side of 30, so is Rohit Sharma. So if they look at someone who's going to potentially lead the Mumbai Indians side in the future, it can be Ishan Kishan. And hence, I won't take that risk of, releasing him. Like, I don't want something like what happened with Yuvraj Singh when RCB, tried to release him and then they paid for him till 15.5 crores. So that was one very stupid thing that
Maybe
happened.
they go Chris Morris, I guess.
yeah.
Or Ambati Raidu. Mumbai fans will know.
But
So,
again, Sky
I'll not risk it.
balls just. Do you guys think Netherlands missed a trick here because
It's been
the leggy has just bowled 1 over? Shiraz.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep forgetting his name.
Shariz
Shariz
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Shariz
Yeah.
Ahmed. I think also it's just Sky. I don't think you can counter the way Sky is batting. He's lofted a good length ball and then
but-
driven one.
India,
Yeah.
two righties. I mean,
Yes.
it makes
They're
every
not-
case to continue with the leg spinner.
And Kohli doesn't have a very good record as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
he doesn't take down spin. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
He
That's
started
fair.
to the last couple of months.
Yeah, but then he'll have to take a risk to get going as
Yeah,
opposed to pace. He's more comfortable doing that versus pace.
because
Yeah.
there was more pace.
there's at
Whereas
least
now-
30 kilometers per hour more than what Basti lead is bowling. Oh, that thing.
So, I think that is the bit with the pitch.
It's like
should probably
Ahmedabad day 4 track.
Day 4? Day 1.
Okay.
Akshar Patel bowling day 1.
So Akshar Patel taking 5. I'm happy. Thank you so much. Yes, please continue.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but it's a good shot that he has to bowl in the power play, which India, I think, didn't use it because of the conditions in Melbourne, but otherwise could have been.
Yeah, but Akshar would be very important in this game. I'm pretty sure he'd be among the wickets.
That's the thing. All these teams actually they play for spin, but Akshar Patel doesn't turn the ball. They don't understand. They don't realize that.
And this is not like the pitch where you want Pandya anyway, right? It's slow and low, and yes, he can bowl cutters, but why would
But
you
he'll
want
not
him?
end up. He'll end up bowling only short balls. He's not bowled a cutter
There might even be a case where India might not even need Pandya to bowl.
Yeah.
or Shami.
Oh,
Akshar Patel takes 5 wickets. That's it. Game over.
Shami, it is not a test game. Bro.
Shami will go. I think Shami could also be more handy because of the up and down nature. If it keeps down from the straight, then you'll want Shami to be in the game more. Yeah. But
Yeah, this is the
Virat
problem.
Ray PMP9 is giving us a good insight that Kohli's strike rate against leg spins is only one is 92.
And
Average
average
is 25. So all the more reason Shiraz Ahmed should have bowled more.
Shariz.
Shariz, I'm sorry. Shiraz.
Who's bowling?
Klassen bowling the last over again.
Left-hander.
Faulkner to Kohli.
Are they saving him for DK?
But what is the point if you don't get a wicket here?
Yeah.
Yes. Fred Klassen. It's proper that Faulkner versus Kohli. There's one more left hand. Who is it? Gone. No, he's cleared.
Chipped over.
Avnish will pretend like this was intentional.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was intense.
Chipping.
I'd like to come back to Virat Kohli's approach here. Now if he gets out, then Somesh have all the right to say that he didn't accelerate and he batted really bad. But if he is
They said that. Once again, Sameer.
मैंने तो पिछले गेम का बोल ही दिया था कि आप
No,
if he's making up for that slow start, then there is no reason to criticize him because he made up for that. That's what I think.
Statement. I'm just going to ask questions that will lead to statements that I want to hear.
Okay,
No,
let's
but
make
wait,
it a force for
Samir,
the last 4.
Ideally, last game, say before he accelerated, if Kohli had gotten
Actually,
out at that time, say 13th over or 14th over mark.
You couldn't have blamed Virat Kohli in the last game because he lost like 4 early wickets.
Wait, I can't. Yeah. Say?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was saying that you couldn't have blamed if Virat Kohli got out in the 13th or 14th over because of that approach because he had to go slow after India had lost 4 wickets so early. I mean, it was the case today. Like if you tell me to,
I think would have been extremely opposite. People saying that Kohli struggled and all of that because the narrative at the end, he won the game. The narrative change is what I feel.
No, India were under pressure. I mean, if it was like one wicket, maybe, and then he would have slowed down and then he would have got out. Maybe then you could have criticized him. But even yes, like even in the last game, oh my God.
If there ever was one.
Not really. After last game,
I know, but I just like seeing the ball just being so flatly hit. But now Virat's catching up and now one away from another T20 World Cup 50. Brilliant stuff. Srivatsan going on to say, and I'll put this across to the panel. Early days, but who are your favorites to win the T20 World Cup this year?
Prediction.
I think
prediction.
No, I think India, I think India. Maybe. And I'm not saying that as a biased thing, but like I generally feel like India, having the vibes.
Did you go to that this thing 2011?
Yeah, look at Virat surprised that shot.
2011 India played Netherlands. 2011 Ireland beat England.
Oh yeah.
All these connections.
There's a lot of connections being made to the '92 World Cup as well. New Zealand, Australia, New Zealand in the first game.
South Africa.
And there's another 50 from Virat Kohli. 50 of 37.
Look, that's all he cares about.
Come on, mate. My predictions are coming right because Arshdeep claiming the most wickets in the World Cup and Virat scoring the most runs. So look, he's already now 132 runs. Chennai knowledgeable Monk fans.
Why drag Murli into this?
Actually, reply to that in good Tamil and tell Raji of
What should I?
just anything.
No, it's fine.
Arnish will reply to that in Kannada.
Yeah, I could. if Raji understands Kannada. Ogappa Rajesh.
He just asked the subscriber to go. That's how he cares about subscribers, guys.
Yeah, Rajay, honestly, it was just tongue in cheek. But Sky things. But he's not
the cleanest.
Six optical illusion.
In the air, Srishan
takes it.
Yeah, that is
with the ball to go.
Coming back to the favorites point, initially I thought Australia were the favorites. Even now, Australia look really good to me. But India has played well. But I think, somewhere around the tournament, there will be a point. Maybe it might be the knockouts. I hope not. But there will be a point, where our death bowling is going to come into the picture. And I think, sadly, that will be the point where India will actually get eliminated. That's what my feeling is. I hope that doesn't happen. Otherwise, I think New Zealand, suddenly the way they decimated Australia that day, it was not just a normal defeat. They batted well, they bowled well. That Finn Allen and Devin Conway opening partnership is, very, very dangerous for the opposition. If they get going in the power play overs, they can easily score 100 runs in the first 6 overs. And I'm not even hyping it or anything, but it's a true fact because the way Finn Allen plays.
The non-team India will definitely be sharing in New Zealand. And Srivatsan, I'm not being biased. I generally feel a good vibe right now with India, and I'm not basing it on that Pakistan win as well. But
I have a feeling that whoever wins the match between Australia and England tomorrow, they might have a good chance because that team would most likely have almost started elimination and then came back and
That is true. And that's a virtual quarterfinal. And we're doing a watch-along for that.
And they have nothing to lose.
And Australia have nothing to... they have the pressure of the home World Cup, but they already have World Cup to their name. I don't think they honestly care if they win this World Cup.
So who are your favorites? Let's just go back to Shiva's questions. One word answers.
One word answers.
Cricket. No, but if gun to your head, you have to choose someone.
Favorites?
Yeah. What you've seen, obviously.
Australia only, I have to say.
Australia. Samir, next.
Australia, New Zealand.
Okay.
South Africa.
Okay.
Not a bad shot.
Hopefully they get all their matches completed. Otherwise,
Rain once again.
Yeah. Maybe Rain's point helps them qualify. Who knows?
And of course, Jagmeet saying whenever Netherlands plays India wins the World Cup. Yeah.
They played in 2003.
Yeah. And
Let's not go there.
Whenever Ireland defeats England, India wins the World Cup. That is also something which can come up.
Yeah. Ani double I saying South Africa. Golf. I'm guessing. Chokers, maybe. Maybe the rain spoiling their party.
they need to get Bauma out of the team to properly. They need to take a call because it's like he's delaying the entry point of Riley Rossouw as well, and Riley Rossouw has scored like 390 plus goals in his last 6 innings.
I'm not sure if he's delaying it because he's not really delaying it. He has to anyway come in.
But even Bumba today, 2 of 6?
Yeah, 2 of 6.
Typical move on of that, to be fair. I just want to get all your predictions.
Even
after this
Mustafizur
call.
is actually batting better than Mohammad, which is
Next, Sameer, Akash, Anirudh, talk to me about your final scores because we love doing this in the CDC watch along, and then of course
183.
bantering each other. 183,
192.
192.
187.
Sameer,
187.
187.
Oh, well fielded.
And next,
194.
Yes,
okay, next always is the most optimistic. That's why you love having him on because he
No, you
always.
didn't predict.
I would, you know me, I would obviously go.
303.
He doesn't care how much India score. He wants Kohli to finish on 85 not out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that to be fair. Gautam, I want to say 185.
He's
So
been
183, 188.
187, I think.
You have to rewind that.
Yeah.
I told 187.
Oh,
well,
good
boy.
ball. He's yoked himself it up.
Then I said 185, I think. I think, yeah, 180 plus basically.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to get over 180, they need what? 32 from the next 2.2.
Which
So
is
that's
quite
still touch and
possible
go,
with
yeah.
these two.
And with Hardik, probably, if he does come through. Jagmeet Singh Oberoi, the most
Yeah,
surprising
this-
fact, England has never been beaten a European team. Yeah, in fact, he told
Yeah.
me this stat and I brought it up to promote as well. Who are the other teams in that thing? Slovenia?
Netherlands, Ireland.
No. He meant like there are only 3 or 4 teams. It's
Yeah.
not-
Scotland.
No. Like
European teams.
yeah, some European teams.
Oh, what a
As
shot
in-
that is. One bounce, 4, is it? It is. So it's a good end to the over.
No, it's not. One more ball.
Oh, sorry, one more ball
The
left.
scoring is stupid. I thought.
Yeah,
So,
apologies.
They increased this thing. They
No.
add the counter for this one very quickly, but they delay the.
So that
Okay.
means Avnish can be a good commentator. He's calling it at 5 balls.
Oh, man. How much is Sky on? Rajesh, you've been going to say 180, 190 plus, which is pretty much what Knicks has also gone for 194. So, yeah. Bhai, chal kya raha hai? 180, itna casual bol rahe hai.
Yeah, this is like if you have watched Sky so much, you feel like 180 is something he can easily get in the next 5 deliveries.
And another boundary? No,
No,
might
no,
be
no.
just one. So, Sky will keep strike.
So 180 is
But
on.
anyone else really concerned about just how much India are dependent on Sky for every single
Yes.
match? Like even the Pakistan match, Sky got out and it was game over until Kohli played the knock of his life. You know?
Yeah, I mean, as good as Sky is, like we've just relied so much on him to be the catalyst, and I think 1 or 2 other players should take that initiative at times. Can't keep relying like it's.
I think one of the openers need to bat through the power play every game. Like
Yeah.
that is how India should be going about things.
Tell Sameer to dance if India scores 185 plus, 100%.
I told
I think we should
187.
dance if we get good amount of likes as well. So subscribe and share this video to
So
all
are
your
we, are we
friends.
selling our souls for likes?
Maybe. I'll tell you what we'll do. If we see a 20-run over, if we see 20 runs in the next 2 overs, in one of the overs, we'll do a group hug. And this is not an attempt to get frisky with the boys by any means. But yeah, just casual jokes, lads.
20 is possible.
20 is possible.
Sky on strike.
Who's gonna bowl? Van Meekeren and
This thing will have no.
he
That'll
won't
be
bowl.
brave if he does.
I think
That'll
that's
be brave.
I think they
after
need
Nawaz. I don't think they'll. Yeah, Van
Van
Meekeren.
Meekeren it is. And then the final one, I think
Because they feel 2-2.
could be Basili. Is Sky the most unorthodox God's pattern to watch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Probably
Steve
McCullum
Smith.
might close.
Steve Smith. Yeah, Steve Smith. With his idiosyncrasies, like honestly, I've not seen. Like we were discussing this.
Thunderball.
Yeah, in terms of
fun to watch,
the
though.
batsman.
Thunderball bores
Yeah, I know. No, but I think McCullum is
He
quite
should
fun to
dance.
watch because with McCullum you don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah, Jagmeet saying do the digit dance. Have you done the digit dance? The digit dance. Right. Sky on strike. 15 away from a great 50.
4 over cover. Let's see.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Get out of here, Akash! Get out of here, man! What a call that is!
No, that's his go-to shot.
I know, but still on cue, on fucking cue. Brilliant stuff. So Sky obviously realizing that now is the time to go. He's been doing it since he's got there early.
He's been doing it from first ball.
To be
But
fair,
just
Yeah, go on.
on the point of Sky, I think every team is always going to be overly dependent on a guy who's in form, right? Australia
Yeah.
have always depended on Warner to bat them through. England have always depended on Josh Butler to get them through in T20. So I think it would be unfair to tell that you're always dependent on one batter. I think you're dependent on the guy who's in the best kind of form, because then you are expecting him.
Also, I think India were dependent on Yuvraj.
Yeah.
So it is not like
to a lesser
yeah, but Yuvraj I
Yeah.
think was the difference maker.
Glue,
Sort of.
But every time we talk about Sky's batting, we obviously appreciate his 360 play and all that. If there's any other batsman who comes close, who's past or present, who comes close? De Villiers, right?
I mean across.
Yeah, across.
Take present, past is obviously.
Yeah.
Players.
But even in the past, there are not many
Maybe
candidates.
Viv Richards. We've not seen
We've
him
not
play.
seen him.
We've not seen him play T20s. He can.
And that's honestly paying Sky the highest compliment when you're
Short.
comparing him to AB de Villiers, who's just been exceptional. Sky will come back for 2 here. So yeah, I mean, it's still a fast stretch away. Srivatsan mentioned the point that 180 is touch and go here. 9 balls to go. They still need about 20 to get to
It
180.
does look
Too
very
pace.
good, right?
Yeah.
Not.
Two pace.
I don't think it's a pretty good wicket.
That's
I
it.
mean, there is some variables in the bounce.
Yeah, it is
thing,
keeping low at times.
Yeah. which
Ray-
is why Akshar.
Yep, Ray PNB going on to say, I disagree. India's bowling is weak. They should look to score 20 runs over par. Shaheen is smashing us. What is 20 runs over par? I'm guessing 180 because par is 160 on this wicket, even though South Africa got 200.
South Africa should have got 230 if not for Russo kind of slowing down
Before his century.
Yeah, just before his century.
We seem like absolute devils at times. I thought you were going to say South Africa should have got 230. but-
I don't think our bowling is that weak. I mean,
Nah, even I don't think our bowling is that weak.
I mean,
No.
if a batsman, if we have a good batter on strike and then that guy needs 40 runs from 2-3 overs, then maybe India has things to worry. But otherwise, India is good enough to take out the average batters out.
Yeah.
Average batters. That's a key word.
Oh, no. You take
No,
one.
no.
You take one.
With Kohli,
He's right.
that's something that's very constant.
Pretty good over so far. 8 or 5 balls.
Yeah,
Last
You
ball
would-
6.
Even if we go for 6, it's like 14
Yeah.
is.
we'll take that. Where were we at the
Was
10th
40.
over mark? Were we
He's
60 for
done.
2 or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
65 for
Yeah, close to 60. And even the first game they were 30.
Next, are you going to make your fantasy teams for your Pakistan Zimbabwe encounter as well?
Of course.
Yeah, all pacers, Roth captain, Blessing vice captain. Let's see.
And Babar and Rizwan to feature.
Of course you do, because Pakistan has to score some runs, right? So they have to be there.
No Bean.
Sorry,
The Park
No Mr. Bean. What is this?
that's the X factor. It's beyond fantasy.
Yeah, what an over, great over, by the way. Jagmeet Singh Oberoi going to say, I sometimes feel that the tail of opposition is heavy on us if they don't study them enough. But that's
Not
happened.
really.
But that's happened to us, I feel, at times across eras, across formats.
No, it's not because you don't study them. It's because
Yeah.
they have nothing to lose.
They have nothing to lose.
That's the point.
The
They-
biggest example is that WTC final, where low
Yeah.
order batting just came.
In Southie is matching.
Jameson.
Jameson is
I
not.
think every England Test series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing beats James Anderson scoring 80. I mean, that is-
Yeah. At
James
Trent
Anderson, Ollie Robinson, like who all? I mean,
Ollie Robinson is still decent enough bat, but
At
James
Christmas,
Anderson scoring.
I mean, still, when you have been bowled out for like 100 and whatever, and the opposition is 90 for 5, you don't expect this folks to score a century from them.
Yeah. Srivatsan going to say, can feel Max O'Dowd scoring a 50 bow. Our bowling is not that world class. I mean, agree to disagree.
disagree.
And we'll get Pramod on during the halfway mark for sure. Just another over before we pick his mind about the Netherlands scheme of things. But it's been a fun watch so far. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Get
So
involved.
it looks like all our predictions are going down the drain.
I know 160
No, 180 is still.
183 is what I
doable.
said, but
Yeah.
But even Surya needs to play out of his skin to get to 180.
No, 2 sixes.
I mean, a little bit more than just 2 sixes, right?
Oh, not far. Run two.
What would teams
Easy,
sing
easy.
when Surya comes out to bat? Let the sky fall. Let the sky fall. Someone has told me a really bad Sky joke as well. And it was like, what do you call Sky if he actually was AB de Villiers, someone who play all sports like hockey, tennis, and stuff? I'd be like, I don't know, Sky Sports. Like, why do you have to say these jokes to ruin our
Sky
day?
Sports.
Sky Sports. By the way, why is Shariz Ahmad not bowling anymore? I mean, it's still too late, don't you think, Samish? But
Probably next over.
joking. But yeah, I mean, what was his figures? Let's check out the cricket.com app.
he
for
was
that.
hit for a boundary by Virat.
Yeah, but I don't think he hit them too many.
Did he?
So at this point of time, do you feel Kohli is probably 10 short where he should be?
Yes.
Yeah. that's the risky part. On days like this,
But he'll probably get away with it because it's Netherlands.
He'll get a few hits. He'll get at least 1-6, 1-4 maybe.
Yeah, actually, very surprising. Good
Where is
call,
your
Samish.
six?
Oh, there's the 6 that we needed.
Is
And
he going to
that's
ask for a mobile for this also?
170 plus. Sharif just pulled
one over, and he considered what,
Five.
5 runs. See.
That's
Yeah.
pretty weird.
I mean,
Srivastava
they-
told you on 180 was unrealistic. Yeah, good call,
172,
Srivastava.
2 more balls.
Yeah, 2 more balls. Grandstand
172.
finish.
We've seen funnier things in cricket.
Yeah, whippage from
We've
Virat.
seen 2 balls, 2 runs defended and 6 balls that Glenn Maxwell. Anything can happen in this score.
Yes, Narayan bowled a maiden
Maiden.
super over.
Maiden
yeah,
over.
this,
And that too to
Good
Nicholas
ball.
Puran.
Van Beek to Virat.
can he scoop it?
Oh, it's a good shot ball. It's just a single, I
Yeah,
think.
very good ball.
And Sky will
that's it.
I
definitely
think
take
Kohli
it.
wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah.
173, end of our 180
179?
hope. Yeah, end of our 180 hope.
So if you're Netherlands, would you be happy with this total, or
If you'd
they're still
given
in
me
the
this,
game? I guess they're not
Yeah.
batted out of it.
if you'd given me this
I think you're better. over
before the game
There are
started, I
more
would have
power
taken
hitters.
it. But if you'd actually told me the halfway mark India were
But
where
they
they
don't need
were,
power hitters
I think it's a
chase 170.
fantastic
But they
recovery.
don't have anybody.
You don't need power
The
hitters to chase.
Next,
170.
India were like what
Then
53
you
for
want
2
to-
after 9 overs,
Yeah,
so
no.
they've scored 120 pretty much in their last 11. Make that more runs, and it's 180 exact, which the Netherlands will require
Oh,
to, of course,
Is that
chase
true?
this down.
50 as well.
So Srivatsan, maybe you're right, my friend. 180 was a spot-on decision. 50 as well for Surya. Brilliant knock. And a
Saved
strike
Virat
rate,
Shah's out there.
strike rate of 200 plus. Honestly, brilliant stuff.
for the second time, Virat is like, Surya, please lead the way.
And it's good to get Surya amongst the runs, back in the runs. I mean, I know rare failure against Pakistan, but India will take that 179 for 2, 20 overs. Virat getting a 50, Surya getting a 50, Rohit getting a 50, KL getting
A 50?
He's getting a
nothing.
egg on his face.
Right, so
Oh,
let's make a quick substitution and go
I think
go
you can-
Dutch here. Love the
Dutch.
Dutch fielding though, great energy in the free field. Yeah, absolutely.
If only
Some
they had caught
terrific stops.
a few in the first 6 overs.
Let's ask our own
180.
Peter Della Penna.
Oh, good God. Or is Peter Delapena the promoter?
Yeah,
Huge pressure on Peter.
yeah. Booby economy in the debt since 2021 is 9.4. Yeah, we'll come to the bowling and all of that. What do you make of it? Because the last time you were here, Netherlands were actually
Yeah.
in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I think they're 63 for 1.
Yeah.
The 10 overs. I think they've done well. Chase, I think, I don't know why they also didn't bowl Shari Zarn. You
Yeah.
guys discussed that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did. We
was
just
the-
did 1 over 5.
1 over
Yeah.
5 is the best bowler.
Yeah.
I heard so many say that they were waiting for Dinesh Karthik to come on.
They are probably still waiting, I guess.
No, but has Shari's kind of completed his quota in the other games in the
He
qualifiers?
has bowled at least 3 from what I can recall.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
In the Bangladesh team, I think he bowled 2 overs, right? Before the rain.
Yeah, makes you think all more because of India's spin susceptibility. But yeah, I mean, I don't know whether Netherlands were trying to keep it coy. But yeah, another nota for Virat, that'll lose average really good.
Another single digit for Rahul. You must
Another
say that.
single hit for Rahul. Unlucky, but he had to perish on 9 and LBW, which went down leg side.
Yeah.
And 180 is inevitably 20 runs above par. I don't know what
More
you guys
than
feel.
20
Yeah.
runs, I guess. At least
Yeah.
30 runs over.
So the issue with Netherlands, I mean, we'll know it better, is that only I think Vikramjit Singh, who has that gear of going all guns blazing. Here, Max Stewart is like, he's a calculated player. He goes for the shots, but he doesn't go at that strike rate as Vikramjit does. And the middle order is very, very, very conservative.
True.
So that's where the issue might
Yeah,
be for them.
earlier, I think Max Woodward had somebody like Stefan Myburger who would just absolutely go whack.
So is there an over-reliance on Netherlands openers to
Definitely.
at least get off to a decent start in the power play?
100%. And their middle order has not been in good form, barring Ackerman's 60 odd he scored in the last
Yeah.
game. I think Tom Cooper or
Scott Edwards.
Scott Edwards has barely scored many runs. So I think that's also a huge worry.
Yeah.
So a lot relies on their top 3.
All right. Sameer and Nick, look, we can get you on at the end of, pretty much the 10th over. We'll get you guys back on. Go and enjoy some
But get the
fantastic runs.
predictions before.
But yeah, predictions before India to win this, right?
Of course, India to win this. I just hope Vikramjit Singh gets amongst a few runs. I've heard a lot about him. So hopefully
Yeah.
he bats well.
He has a,
But otherwise, yeah, India is winning this totally.
you have him in your fantasy team, don't you?
No.
No, that is why only no other reason there.
You must have
I'm-
him at least one of his 20 teams. I'm guessing.
11 teams.
11 teams.
No, I'll just hope India close this out because because then I don't want attention on Virat's knock again. Whether he should have started
No,
earlier.
and also remember they just got across the line against Pakistan, so their net run rate is 0.05 plus. So obviously any big win will be great. South Africa already at 3 points. India getting the job done will
And
mean
who will
that
get
they go to
wickets
four.
for India?
Arshdeep?
Akshar Patel, hopefully, 3-4 lengths.
Bhuvneshwar, there is
Arshdeep and Akshar a good shot. Sorry, Akash, because Anirudh in the pre-match went on to say that Netherlands struggle against left arm spin
true.
and pace.
I wanted to say that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is 1 wicket away from equaling all-time record, which is the most wicket in the first over of Sohail Tanveer, and 2 wickets away from going past him. So maybe this game, he did it he did it against Afghanistan. So.
And we've seen it multiple times in 2022. Right, Crazy Nicks and Samir, the hitman Alana, thank you so much for your time. Great predictions, great banter, and stats as ever. And not to forget the fantasy chat as well. Most appreciated. We'll see you guys shortly. Until then, it's a goodbye from us for right now. But all the viewers right now joining us, tell us how much Suryakumar Yadav saved Virat Kohli's bacon out there. Me being Virat's biggest fan, I think it was still a decent knock, but not an earth-shattering one.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a decent. I think I love the way sort of Kohli sort of started playing after Surya came in. I think there was much more freedom in the way he started playing his shots, and of course Surya was just being himself throughout that innings.
Samir Santosh saying India might use the trick Max out from his notes.
yeah,
good point that you mentioned there.
No, but it's actually like very fascinating that the aspect that he wrote it on the note that India, and that's kind of where these nations don't get an opportunity to play these big teams, so they don't care about winning. They care about playing and gaining experience from this, so that Ireland can beat England, but
not just the international, even on the league, franchise league phase.
They get to interact with these.
We spoke to Ryan Campbell last year, if you remember. He picked out Max O'Dowd as one of the picks that a franchise should have. Any franchise in the world.
So O'Dowd is he proper Dutch or does he have like an Aussie?
No, he's from New Zealand. Right. So he's played cricket over there.
So he has a ductile DNA in him. Looks slow and low. Looks a slow and low pitch. Had opposition been good, I feel India underperformed a bit. Yeah, if this was against South Africa, we'd be thinking maybe that 10-20 off.
No, not against South Africa.
No, as in like if you take 180.
But they did score 120 of the last 10, which was a good effort after.
Which is a great effort, I think. Guys, India played Netherlands in 2003-2011 World Cup and India reached the finals. Yes. We've already made that remark at some point in time in the watch-along, but
this is what we keep doing, right? Just find patterns.
And Ireland beat England and we won in 2011.
We just find patterns and like, oh, India will win. And then
next KL Rahul does that.
Next pattern is Rohit Sharma to score a 6 to win the game.
Once we keep talking about the Netherlands openers and a great start, which is a no-brainer. But anyone else in that middle order ranks who can like just be a Surya for them?
Tom Cooper on his day, but he's not done it in some time.
But isn't he more the anchor than the aggressor?
He has.
No. I think he
has the proper hitting ability, but it's just that maybe his role here is defined.
I feel Ackerman is a bit more of an anchor with you. These two.
And remember, the coach of Netherlands right now is Gary Kirsten. So
one of the
coaches.
They have plenty of coaches.
So who do they have? They have Dan Christian, Gary Kirsten.
Gary Kirsten.
They have Ryan Campbell as well.
Ryan Campbell.
Simon Cook is the head coach.
Simon Cook is
Ryan Cook. Simon.
Is it
Ryan Cook.
Ryan
Cook. Right.
I was just like, whoa. But Ryan Cook, does he? I think he's a county man, right?
It's a safe guess. Most of these Dutch players are. That's the interesting part. They get more money from playing these kind of professional cricket than they get from central contracts.
That's why when Netherlands play, for example, and there's a county season going on, they don't play for the Netherlands. They play for the county.
That is true.
So that's why, mainly because it's the bread and butter.
But Ackerman is good player of spin. He's certainly promising. We'll get Anirudh Statsman on to tell us some really good nuggets if he can. We will also ask everyone for their predictions, winners, and final score. Indeed, I would prefer having Max Dar and trade him with KL Rahul. Wow, Vasan.
I think
I'm with them on that.
But Netherlands would want to take him. Would want to take KL Rahul. They don't have players like that who can give them 600 runs a season.
But just come back to the chat that we had yesterday, and Pramod wasn't part of it, I think. Anirudh said that, look, going forward, there should be 16-team World Cups, but not split into qualifiers, but like pretty much like the Euros of the old. 4 teams per group, and then round robin, and then quarters,
interesting.
semis, finals.
That'll be
And all these minnows get a fair chance then.
That's how I think it's going to be in 2024. I think there will be 20 teams, so I think 4 teams into 5 teams into 4.
Yeah.
It should be the way to go.
That would be quite.
Or 4 into 5 will be 5 groups.
5 groups, but then you have to play Super 8.
Yeah,
or Super 6
Yeah.
or something like
Sami Santosh, once again, appreciate you in the comments. Hope you're having a good lunch. Wish the ODI Super League was the associate teams would get great opportunities to play with big teams.
There are only 2 teams from there. That's Netherlands and Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Who get to play with.
But with the World Cup being hosted by US next year and West Indies are automatically qualified, right?
Yeah, US. So basically, the top 8 teams from here plus 2 qualify.
Okay.
Plus, after that, the next 2 teams are the next 2 ranked teams, ICC rankings on November 14th.
Right.
On November 14th. Then for the rest, I think they have qualified, the additional qualified,
Yeah.
African,
So
European,
basically,
and all that.
4
So
more
Kenyas
teams.
and Ugandas and all
Yeah,
of them.
they all come in. Yeah. So I'm sure there'll be a couple of teams that are absolutely we never heard about coming in.
So we'll see Unmukchan debuting for
US
US before India.
Oh, that's a good
That's
chance.
not
Who else
something.
do they have?
For the US.
Yeah, I mean, Unmukchan's a great household name.
There's one
There's
more.
Harmeet Singh, the off spinner from the under 19.
Oh, okay. I thought the Harmeet got Dravid out in the 2009
No, no, no.
IPL final.
There's this wicket keeper also, right?
Yeah, Smith Patel.
Smith Patel.
Oh,
Smith
okay.
Patel is there.
And they have this other guy who bowls left arm pace or something, who's their highest wicket taker.
Saurav Netrolkar.
But if you were an Indian cricketer, would you be lured into playing for the US?
It depends on what stage I am at.
Like,
If I'm at 32, I'll be definitely wanting to play for US.
Take Unmukchan's case, right?
Yeah, I think he did what was best for his interest, because he would never have cracked it after that stage for India.
Yeah.
He doesn't even play IPL. I mean,
Yeah,
he doesn't even play for Delhi, so that's
All of that, yeah.
He used to, like, before he went to US, he used to play for Uttarakhand. So it's
I
not
think
like he used to play at a higher
There are going to
level.
be other interesting. I believe Corey Anderson, Liam Plunkett,
Yeah.
Sami Aslam. They're all probably will be eligible to play. for the
That's
US.
basically the rest of the world.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting.
Greenwich Gonzalez, India could have got 200 but brilliant fielding ground, saved 20 runs. Yeah, which is a very important point. I think
But
I mean,
if they-
catching
Yeah,
was
Catching
a
as
little.
but if they had caught, then India would not have even got to 180.
maybe
Yeah.
those wouldn't have got
Then
to
they
it.
would have had DK come in and had Shari's probably.
Yeah, so Max Sudar and Vikramjit Singh going to take the first ball before that, but we love getting our
Anirudh.
stats digested and we have our data in the form of Anirudh, the stats man. Let's bring him on to tell us what we've learned from that first innings, any particular talking points. Anirudh, there he is. Anirudh, yet another unbeaten contribution from Virat, 50. How has that done his numbers in terms of T20 World Cup? We can't hear you. You're mute. You're on mute, sir.
Nothing much. He just averaged around 70s in the start at the start. I mean, 81 in the start at the start of this World Cup, and he's just raised to 89 now. His average is 89 in the World Cup.
Nonchalantly.
Just 89. That's all.
Yeah.
And he has 1250 plus scores, where
Oh.
no 1250 plus scores where nobody else has more than 10. So
Wow,
that
that's
shows. And today he went past Chris Gale as the second highest run scorer in T20 World Cup.
And I know who the first one is. 1 second. I just want to ask Akash.
No, I know.
Oh, you guys know.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Mileage is
Oh, yeah, T20 World Cup.
very
So,
unlike
Javardhan-
associate.
Jayawardene took scored 1,016 runs in 31, and Kohli has scored 989 in just 21 innings. So
What's
that
it? So
is
Jayawardene played how many World Cups? 2007, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 14.
Yeah, 14 was last.
Yeah. So
That's the farewell.
But Sangha
So-
played 50.
that's those are the few things.
yeah, I mean, very little to choose from, but still very interesting if you're a Virat Kohli fan. From 81 to 89 is an average.
Oh, and one more I just wanted to say. So basically, Kohli and Surya in 12 innings they've scored over 500 they've scored over 500 runs at a run rate of 11.2. Their partnership run rate, I mean, their partnership run rate is 11.2, which is the best for any pair who has batted together for 10 innings and scored 500 plus runs in T20 ice.
Yeah, and
So-
that's a good conversation driver next to ask the guys in the comments below and these lads about devastating T20 international pairs right now in this World Cup.
Right now.
Yeah. I mean, Surya and Virat's a great example, but I can think of,
Conway and Allen.
yeah,
Yeah, Conway and then
then there's Miller and Russo,
Miller and also, yeah.
maybe. There could be even
Coach Malan.
The second, I mean,
Coach Malan.
the second and third are like very unexpected ones. You can just guess around. You can't even expect that. Okay,
Well, after
fine.
Virat and Surya.
Yeah, after Virat and Surya.
Okay, give us a clue.
Quinton Bauma.
No, not that unexpected.
Okay.
Not that unexpected, but unexpected.
Babar Rizwan.
No, obviously no. It's two left-handers combination. England.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, I know.
No. Moin and Malan.
Stokes.
Moin and Malan.
Nope.
Oh, Duckett and
Moin and Sam Curran.
No.
Okay, just spill the beans already.
Duckett and Moin.
Malan and Morgan.
Malan and Morgan.
Two of them who don't get.
Oh,
Third one is from India.
wow.
Rahul Rohit.
Nope. Dhoni and Kohli.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
The running partnership.
Now I understand the pattern of his question.
But one thing, I need to just hold on before you let us go, because if Booby gets a wicket this ball, oh, he nearly did.
No,
But
he
it's a
doesn't.
fantastic start, a maiden over. Ani, really appreciate all the numbers. We'll probably catch you sometime. You give us
Sure.
more numbers as well. Thank you so much. Ani, the stats man over there, proving himself, like one of the comments said. Moin Stokes, Ayush Sharma guessing.
Yeah, we
So
also-
close, but no cigar.
But we didn't guess Stokes because
Yeah,
not
where
played
does
a
he
lot of
play?
T20s.
Yeah.
We didn't guess Morgan because he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So,
But
Yeah.
no, I didn't guess. Morgan and Malan because of what happened between them.
that is true.
Do you remember he didn't run off the last ball, and then
Yeah,
Morgan
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"Why
yeah.
won't you run off the last ball?" Imagine an Indian captain saying that to Kohli.
Yeah, that's bold.
But would Kohli, I don't think would do that.
Dhoni.
Yeah.
Akshar equals sixer.
That means 6 wickets.
He's going to concede sixes.
No, 6 wickets.
Oh, Sydney just looks so beautiful. So max it out and strike.
Yeah.
Shami.
When Anirudh Statsman was there, I think me and Pramod were peering under the screens because Vikramjit has come down the track and
I
left
know.
it.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
just like a little weird. Introspect going on to say, want Shami and Bhuvi now to deck havoc. Perfect pitch for Ashwin and Akshay. Ashwant. Come on.
That's Ashwin and Pant. Ashwant.
Oh, glorious.
Oh,
What a
yes.
way to open your account. Max so
That's nice.
down.
Talking about opening accounts.
All right,
Let's bring
let's
back
get a
Somesh.
substitution right now.
So Somesh and I have made a deal. If Netherlands win today, I get a week off.
Oh my God.
Hopefully, it
Oh
doesn't
my
happen.
God.
So I have more than one reason to support them today.
Yeah. By the way, did we get 20 run over in the last 2 overs?
India had 179.
Because we promised the viewers a group hug. And I'm sorry, viewers. Like, I'm sorry, honestly. It was 152. No, I don't think we got a 20 run over. I don't think. we did.
17-8.
Yeah, we got saved by that. Want Shami and Bhuvi now to like havoc. Perfect pitch for Ashwin and Akshar. Yes. Agree with everything you say. We have our correspondents on the ground, which we'll get to post match. Hopefully, for some more insights. But yeah, really good.
Stokes, he wants the player.
No, basically, Anirudh was having a little bit of a game with his stats, saying after Virat and Surya, they have like a
Run rate of 11 or something.
run in 11, minimum
So who's
500
the second
runs.
best?
Who's the second best?
Who is it?
Moin Stokes.
No, no, that is not the answer.
It was Mohan Morgan? No, Malan Morgan. What did we
Malan
say?
Morgan.
Malan Morgan. And then Dhoni Kohli.
But I don't think a lot of them would have 500 plus runs. That's the thing.
Who?
A lot of partners.
Yeah, that's what. So he had like a little display one. So Arshdeep, of course, left arm is a chink in the Netherlands armor. Oof! You can see why. I love how Arshdeep just honestly he can swing it both ways. The way he set up Babar also, just playing mind games with him. The short ball to Asif Ali was brilliant. Which he has that weapon in his
I
locker.
think Chahal should have gotten a game.
I fully agree with Som, like in the sense any bloody changes make it in the last 2 games. Why
Once you have
chop and
points in
change?
the-
Get the points done, get the wins under your belt, sit comfortable.
Actually, Chahal for Ashwin is anyway not a direct swap. Because
Yeah, but Ashwin being Ashwin.
that's the thing. It is not a direct swap, and you lose a batter as well. So you have to compensate some other way.
Yeah, max it out. Ooh,
If Chahal plays, India will have to bring Harshal Patel. Somehow.
Imagine like, Yuzi walking in ahead of Ashwin in the Pakistan game.
yeah. Azan Raza.
Ashwin said in his show, no? I mean, if that ball would have hit my pads, I would have been like, Sida jaake tweet
Yeah.
karta.
Thank you for the memories.
Thank you for all the memories, guys. cricket was great.
That's a good way to put it because it makes you think all the more about Ashwin and how he just left it over there. Oh my God. There was so many people tweeting saying words like cool, composure, smartest cricketer. Gavaskar's gone on to say why isn't he ever captain India also, which is quite crazy.
Because he was not able to convert ones into twos.
Again, threading it through the eye of the needle. 4 more. Honestly, similar to the shot that he got off the mark, but Max O'Dowd.
I think as observed against the game against Sri Lanka, everybody was struggling against Kumara's pace.
Yeah.
Max O'Dowd was the only one who seemed unfazed by the pace.
These are his Auckland genes.
Yeah,
exactly.
We talk about cricket doppelgangers. I mean, you told me Richard Berrington looks like Dean Jones' son. I mean, if you guys know, you know. You remember that one, right? You remember that one. Shub also remembers that one. But if Max O'Dowd reminds me of someone, it's Will Pekovsky.
Who, by the
But
way,
that is because of his hair.
And
who took out.
but I'm sure he's not had so many concussions as him. Though.
Yeah. Will Pukowski has just recently announced one more
break.
Oh my God.
Definite break this time.
Ooh, great call.
10 of the overs, not bad.
Yeah, especially given the fact that the first one was a maiden. So
And he keeps strike, so I think it's a good thing.
We talk about Kale being a minnow washer. I mean, think about Bhuvi. I mean, if you remember the game against Afghanistan, he got a 5 for getting 100. And today, like, people don't even recognize कि भाई swing कहाँ होने वाली है, क्या है, ठीक है, छोड़ दो, खेल.
But more than terming him as a minnow basher, it's just like how we kind of told our viewers about New Zealand being ruthless and clinical. I think that's the movie scene, dude. Like when he knows there's easy meat to be eaten.
Yeah.
He's gonna thrive. Question: are you confident that DK will be able to clear the big boundaries? He was trying to reverse paddle a lot.
I think he would have planned for this because he set his eye on the World Cup and if he at times he hit baby sixes, but he can hit longer sixes as well.
And to be fair, he's got a little bit of success playing that reverse paddle stroke, man. Like at least in the RCB season, that chase against Rajasthan, which he put on with Shabazz, they actually played like a lot of unconventional strokes. I mean, obviously you're going to look at one game day and then judge him, but like maybe not.
I think he's really good in playing the orthodox sweep even against faster bowlers. He plays that angle quite well.
He does.
And I think these are bigger boundaries, but every ground has shorter pockets.
Yeah.
So you can target those pockets, then it might work out.
And I don't necessarily see DK as a guy that hit in the V necessarily. At times he does, but more
but
square.
I want him to have a game.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, the game got run out. Which is shocking.
And again, he I don't know if he said this on the BCCI platform or Ashwin's own channel where he's...
Oh, catch that! Oh! It would have been one of the most innocuous wickets ever.
Vikramjit Singh has no clue.
No clue at all.
So, he said that thank you for saving me. Which is in a way sad because, I mean, he knew that if India would have lost, a lot of things would have been thrown in DK's direction.
And it's unfair.
It just happens.
It's unfair.
And, obviously, it's unfair.
And the magnitude of the game would have meant like much more and all that.
But that's the role that's been given to him, and he's like, accepted it.
He's
quite.
thrived.
Yeah.
And to rejuvenate himself at the age of 37 is a message to the other Indian cricketers out there who are on the fringe saying, listen, there is role definition which you can give yourself. Oh, bowl him! Bowl him! Unbelievable, man. Top of off, talking about top of off, literally top of off. And Vikramjit Singh departs pretty much worse than a Babuma. Kane Williamson knocked this 9-ball-1.
Is he the captain of London? Vikramjit Singh is putting his hand up with the captain on the side.
With this take that comment from Masan Narayan, I think he made a good point there. And I think we touched upon it in the watchalong as well. Saying Max O'Dowd, I think a player like Max O'Dowd will reveal in this Indian setup technically correct. Jared Kimber also praised him.
And we discussed about him, about Ryan Campbell also talking about him last year. So,
and Ryan Campbell, I think last year singled him out as one of the top talents to watch out for.
Him along with Colin Nickerman, he said two of the top talents to watch out for.
Yeah.
Nickerman, of course, we know he's experts for Leicestershire. He's done quite well. He's captained that side as well.
He's played for South Africa, no?
I mean,
HD
Ackerman ka beta hai.
But no, he's never played for South Africa. No.
But he was part of something in that setup.
Is he a goalback?
I think so.
Should be. Maybe. Let us know in the comments below. But yeah.
Let's see what Google says.
I was asking these guys, so basically if India had to go into the Super Over, who would be your first 3 batters as choices? as choices.
Okay, I'll go with Surya.
Okay. Everyone's saying Surya, it's
I'll
insane.
go with DK.
Okay.
And if Pant is playing Pant.
Okay. Nice. I mean, I've
No.
gone completely different. I went Rohit, Hardik, Virat.
Oh, and Hardik is also good.
Yeah. Actually, Rohit, Hardik's guy, to be
Yeah,
fair.
if-
Virat, if he's set and all
If
that.
Hardik is not, Hardik is not playing, then Pant. Otherwise, if Pant is not there in the squad, then Hardik.
So Ackerman was born in South Africa.
Yeah,
He played South Africa in 19s.
Under 19s.
Played a World Cup for them, maybe. Somesh, what do you think is the reason of Rohit not performing well in T20 World Cup at IPL? That's a great question, Pratik, because you put him on the spot and he's a big Rohit fan.
Rohit is not performing in the T20 World Cup because before these two T20 World Cup, the last T20 World Cup was in 2016. And was Rohit the same player back then?
He'd got 2 double hundreds in white ball cricket by then.
By 20,
No,
didn't the
but-
second one came in
2017.
2017? Yeah.
The 264 came in
2017.
2017. Oh, sorry, just the 209 then.
And I think 2016, the entire game of T20 was played differently. India were happy that Ajinkya Rahane was scoring 50 or 40 balls.
Yeah. And IPL, but that's the one question which is always thrown at Rohit fans, right?
Yeah.
Oh, why can't he perform in the IPL?
Hmm.
But like, dude, he's won the most titles, so that's all that matters, right? Or as a
And-
batsman,
At times he's done well in IPL as well. 2015 final, I think he got some runs.
yeah.
And even the 2020 final, he got them across the line. Overall numbers are not that great.
Yeah.
This IPL, I think he batted decently.
Yeah.
The way he batted for Mumbai is exactly how we wanted him to bat for India as well. And
Yeah.
before the tournament began, he basically, so this is the comparison that we keep making time and again. Rohit is essentially modeled himself after Sunil Narine now.
Hmm.
He's essentially batting like him. After 2-3 overs, he just starts hitting sixes.
Right answer.
Right, and Sunil Narine,
Who doesn't
who
bowl?
can bowl off spin, but doesn't want to or doesn't have the fitness to.
See, I mean, T20s is honestly, it's fine margins, and then you can look at all the knocks Rohit has played, at least earlier this year. It's about what he wanted to set out as a message to his captain, saying, listen, let's go for it. Because the top 3 invariably have 3 anchors, and Rohit is just being bowled out of the other 3. With their
And I think last World Cup, he failed against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Against New Zealand, he was the one who came one down, right? I think
he opened, right?
I think again New Zealand, KL and Ishan Kishan opened and Rohit came one down.
Oh, correct.
So his spot was slightly juggled with.
Tampered with. But yeah, unless you're KKR, Rohit is going to struggle against other teams.
But there's no real answer to it. I mean,
You can't put a finger on such things, but yeah, I mean, we'll deep dive. Hopefully,
about
into
Mohammad
stats
Shami,
piece.
yeah, this has been on from day one. They've had Mohammad Shami's name twice. Mohammad Shami. They've made some coding error. I think
Yeah.
first name, last name को 2 बार combine करते हैं तो फिर से combine कर दिया उन्होंने.
Ayush went on to ask us, do you think Kohli will bowl today? No chance in hell. Akshay should complete his 4. Hardik shouldn't bowl unless he's really required.
ANI are covering the cup and asking questions as well.
Ani. Booby bowling in death overs between 16 and 20. Is it a good idea? Maybe he should bowl 3 overs in the power play and 1 over.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what India
But the
been
thing is,
doing.
then Shami will have to bowl in the death. So I would rather have Bhuvi bowling at the death rather than Shami.
Really?
If I have to pick one of those two,
Shami delivered 4 wickets in the death.
I think this is the exact role that I would have for Mohammad Shami. Bowling 2-3 overs up top and then 1 over in the middle. For Bhuvi, I'll do 2-2 and Arshdeep can bowl 2 at the death.
He was very adaptable
Does
lad.
Harshal come in at all in this World Cup? Unless injuries, injuries.
You know what stat is gone against him? He's conceding more sixes, and I think that's just
He's been expensive game
as
after
well,
game. He's been given a fairly.
But he's one of those bowlers to give you like a 3 for 39. Would you take that in his 4?
But actually, the thing is, he was giving
Gets that?
one for 52. More often than
3
not.
for 39, I'll take if you have 180 or 190.
Yeah.
Happily.
Would you take 1 for 52?
Virat has improved versus spin. Him stepping out is a good sign. And I think anchor's role suits him. So you need Surya type players surrounding Virat if Virat continues after this World Cup.
I didn't understand the question.
See, yeah, I mean, no, he's mentioning the fact that normally
Okay,
we've
yeah,
seen
okay.
how Virat has been susceptible against spin, but I think he got a lot of confidence playing Rashid Khan in that Asia Cup, and I think even before that, I think in the IPL he had decent success against him in those games.
That was
Max of doubt, by the way.
a la Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow plays this shot.
Yeah, the whippage. Introspect getting into the comments saying Vasant Narayan, if Kohli opens, he will be more dangerous as then he can score 50, 55 ball hundreds. It's something Somesh also wants to see Rohit and Kohli to open. And not because he has anything against KL Rahul, but because Virat historically has done better as an opener in this format, and hence we're going with the numbers and marrying, of course, I would
And
feel
just
it
see how
inside.
KL Rahul bats in ODIs at number 5. He's been exceptional in that role. Because it's like he has no fear.
Yeah.
He comes at a time when he has to crash, and he does that really well.
For me, likes of Rahul Tripathi are similar to Surya, who can give impact innings, and we need to look out for Rajat Patidar. There are very few players of that ilk and mold.
Yeah, Rajat Patidar, I mean, still has miles to go to be compared to Sky and Rahul Tripathi, but Rahul Tripathi is someone that I would really want to see.
Yeah.
I think
And if there's someone who comes close to Surya right now in the Indian domestic circuit,
it is Rahul Tripathi for sure.
Patidar,
He has that
Patidar is a good
authentic
shot. Yeah.
shots. Patidar is a good shot, but then before Patidar, I would say Sanju Samson.
Yeah. Samson also.
While he's around, it'll be a step too far just to jump the queue and have Patidar.
And the key stat there we're looking at times is the first 10 ball strike rate, and Sky has just been phenomenal in that regard. Max Udar is playing this kind of
I think he likes
But
he likes space. So I think they should.
He's been provided with good carry slot balls. No?
Yeah.
Just maro bhai. Karo, nets karo.
I think if you will bring in a spinner, Akshar or Ashwin, maybe he might sort of
struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, if Netherlands try to even get to 160, 170, they can take a lot of points out of it. I don't know if there'll be an upset. I think there'll be an upset at 4:30 this afternoon. If you guys know, you know. But
Pakistan's
how good will that be,
pace
bro?
attack
the
is
Mr. Bean derby. Huh?
Mr. Bean
This
derby.
God, yeah. Raza will out.
When this World Cup really needed rivalry.
Yeah. Finally.
I was actually sort of sad when Sri Lanka did not end in this group. I wanted to see Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh.
Bro, would have been a mini Asia Cup, bro, basically.
I would have been lovely this group. This game would
Bangladesh,
have
Sri
been
Lanka,
India, Sri Lanka.
Pakistan. Oh, yeah.
There was a chance where actually both Sri Lanka and West Indies would have ended up in this group. It would have been very good to watch, at least from our watch-along perspective, because we'll be doing India games anyway.
And India Sri Lanka would have been this game, right?
This game,
and it would have been a revenge game because
Yeah.
we lost to them the Asia Cup. I don't know how, but that was a fun watch along. So if you guys have the time and nothing else to do, honestly, go back to the India Sri Lanka watch along and just take a look at that. Right, so here we go. Aksar Patel,
5 for loading.
6 for one of the comments said. Aksar equals 6 for. So let's see.
अक्सर अगर आप अक्सर हैं तो कभी-कभी क्या है?
Aksar's best game in India, chair. I know white ball clothing.
Which
That West Indies one again.
That wasn't the hit with the bat.
Yeah. Test, obviously, it has to be Ahmedabad. Yeah. Oh, he's gone. You know, this reminds me of Livingston's dismissal to Bumrah in one of the ODIs earlier this year.
This is
Walking across, I think Dan Lehman used to do this quite a bit, like walk across and expose his stumps and
हाँ, but
fill
अक्सर
down.
पटेल तो छोटा था ना.
Sorry, not fill down, max up. Yeah. And Akshar, mate, was this an arm ball? No, it was just a normal stock ball.
Stop ball and
Nice idea, but he just exposed the stumps way too much. And that old saying in cricket,
So
you miss I hit.
again, the interview that we spoke about that Surya gave to Nagaraj. He
What's his
meant
cricket?
Nagaraj Gurukul, the cricket for guy.
Yeah.
We got this interview for Cricket. He said that most sweeps that he plays are premeditated,
Yeah.
but then what he adjusts is try to get the ball at his pads so that then he can maneuver. So right now, Max moved so far across that the ball was like beyond the line of his pads.
Who's the best sweeper in Team India?
तो सुबह मेरी दीदी आती है.
Surya.
Because I was going to crack a
Surya-
Swachh Bharat follow-up joke.
Probably DK.
Ben Duckett. Ben Duckett
Duckett,
actually is the-
definitely.
But
Yeah.
in India, it's Surya or DK.
Surya. Surya has
Or Kohli against Lion.
one now.
Against Lion in 2014.
Ekman is-
Right, so Colin Ackerman. He got some runs, 62, which was his best, funnily enough.
No,
Well, this
could
been
be
62,
good.
maybe.
South Africa under 19. Netherlands international.
One Netherlands player that you actually really liked. Did you like
Ryan Ten discard.
I actually like Van der Merwe, man. Obviously RCB.
Why Ryan Tendo was.
But the way that Van der
brilliant.
Merwe used to wear his heart in his sleeve, would be like, come
He
on.
still does that.
Yeah.
He still does that at 38.
RCB had
मैंने भी
nothing.
टी-शर्ट मंगाई है.
Dylan
टी-शर्ट
Dupree
का
was
जहाँ पे हार्ट बना है.
Yeah. Was Dylan Dupree Dutch? No. No, he's South African. So if there's one Netherlands cricketer who can actually be bid in that auction later this year, who will it be?
I think on current form, I think Basti Lead has a good chance.
Mm.
He's already been picked up by the
Emirates.
Emirates.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe he can graduate to the
Max O'Dowd, many people are saying in the comments below.
Max O'Dowd as well.
Yeah. But Netherlands basically doing themselves pretty much not good right now because they got India in a similar position. Even though India didn't lose 2 wickets in the power play, but now the chase becomes all more difficult. How crucial is it that India, now that they pretty much have Netherlands on the mat, kind of be braver with field placements and not conceding so many runs and not letting the game drift? Net run rate.
Are we actually talking just for the sake of
No. Actually, bro, I basically brought up a point because India just crossed the line over Pakistan, 0.05 plus net run rate. A good, bro. South Africa hammered Bangladesh.
Yeah, but South Africa have to hammer. They've lost points to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
They have no other alternate, and they have both the big games to come. Pakistan and India. India already won a big game.
I want a nice 80-90 run win. Vipul Anand, where have you been this afternoon? First one from you in the comments. Nice to see you. He goes on to say, I feel Punch should open with Rohit. At least in this case, Rohit doesn't have the pressure to hit from the first ball, and he can play his natural game. Plus, Punt has been with the team for a long time now. But long time, you mentioned that long time over there.
Sure.
It's not a sample size of 10 or 15, Vipul. It's a sample size of 45, 47 innings that Punt has played, and not once has he taken like the world by storm in a T20 international. But that shouldn't be a point of a black mark on Punt's CV, right?
You see, things have been a little. I know if a lot of people will hear me, I'll get a lot of slack for this. But I think at times things have been a little unfair to Punt. He's been asked to do. He's never been given a set role.
Yeah, set role.
At times he's opened. At times he played at 4, 5. He's even played as a finisher.
Mm.
So I mean, it's not like he's been given a role that you have to bat. And his best position is number 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That is where he scored
more runs for Delhi.
Yeah, I mean for Delhi's better knocks have come when he's been on at around 5th over mark.
Mm.
And it's not like he's been given like 15 T20s in a row where he's actually batted at that position because number 3 spot in India is never available.
Don't know why. Crazy Nick, I will get you soon. मैंने तो पहले ही कहा था. Akshar strikes.
Of course. So
height, I think.
I mean, the Punt, I think we'll be able to better judge him if we give him one role, see him for 10, 12 T20 games. If it doesn't work out, then probably we'll have to move on.
Yeah. Avinash, we missed out on Surya in his 20s. I fear we might miss out on Tripathi also. Somewhere like KL type batsman should never be in the team. There's so many names which come to mind. People like Prithvi Shaw, people like Ishan Kishan, many people are reckoning. Obviously, he had a good 2021. Prithvi Shaw
But
for sure.
Vasant, I mean, this tends to happen, right? Some players are just lucky to be given a longer role. I mean, Rohit Sharma is Rohit Sharma because he got the long rope. If he would have been dropped, because there was every case in this world at around 2012, 2013 that India should not pursue with Rohit Sharma.
And the watershed moment was the Champions Trophy.
When he was asked to open.
And it was MS by.
Yeah, and so it sort of happened with KL. I think KL has just been, and he's also the vice captain, guys. I mean, there is a reason behind he's the vice captain because he shows pedigree time and again. It's just because big games. So right now, actually, in the break when I was not here, I was actually wanted to check his numbers outside India, and I think outside India against Pakistan, he has an average of 9.
What's it? Who we talking about?
KL Rahul. So Pakistan, I think he's played 2 games.
Oh, brilliant KL, brilliant KL.
That's why he's the vice captain. Right?
Yeah, and I think he's struggled against Australia as well. Against Australia also his numbers are not great. So at times tournaments like bilaterals are easy because you're playing the same bowling attack time and time again. It's these multinational tournaments which are tricky to nail, and that is where the confidence and all the other things come into picture.
But tell me something about KL and the management thinking behind him as the leader in the back and the foreseeable future leader as well. Why is that? Because he's led Punjab Kings and
I think
Kings 11.
Because of lack of options. He's the only one who has been injury free all this while and persisted with for long. Because
So who are the other options then? Pant?
Pant and Hardik. Hardik is
Hardik.
the upfront, but Hardik is not always available. That's the thing. And if you think about it, KL doesn't even get to play high pressure games in IPL because his teams have hardly qualified for the next round.
Sixth. Obviously, LSG making this one.
Yeah, but they lost in the eliminator
to RCB.
Yeah.
Patida playing in blinder. Introspect saying, Vasandaran, you can't really compare Babar with Virat. There is difference of strike rate of 10 plus. Virat is a far better finisher and a match winner. I love how these guys are just taking the piss out of each other in the comments below, but more the merrier comments, of course. And
Makes
we'll
our
get
job a
involved.
little easier, I guess. Just to...
Yeah, 100%. But India, honestly, I think are going to get the job done very quickly done, I feel. But we have Jamie Alter joining us in the 10th over mark, so that'll be fun. And we're going to pick his mind about KL Rahul more.
He's the second biggest KL Rahul fan.
Yeah. And every time he was like picking on KL Rahul, India seemed to score boundaries that day. So hopefully we don't pick on KL Rahul so we don't concede boundaries this time around. Srivatsan going on to say, we really should have bowled first and boosted our net run rate. Then in final games, we can try this funky stuff of getting habituated to defending, although it went nice today and it was unnecessary risk. Two things to that. Normally, you expect Rohit to bowl first in these games because it's just like minnows. Oh, there's a proposal. Hold your phone here.
Is it Mustafi?
Will you marry me?
उसमें हाँ ही नहीं पूछा ही will you marry me बोल के पहना दिया.
Oh my God. Consent तो कोई बात होती है. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Consent तो माँ बाप ने दे दी होगी पहले, I guess.
Wow, so we've seen pretty much everything. Pretty much everything.
So coming back to the point.
Why are they bowling hard? कुछ फायदा ही नहीं है इसमें.
Sorry, रुक जाओ.
Sorry, let's so close.
ठीक है, कर लो, करते हो.
She's engaged. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can we move on?
Yeah, sorry. Can we move on? A little awkward there, but if you guys are watching at the same time, you know.
Yep. So I think it was a fair call to bat first because it's a used wicket. We have to keep that in mind. It keeps flowing down. 40 overs are already bowled. And net run rate works both ways, guys. I mean, even while batting first, you can boost your net run rate. I mean, if India end up winning this game by 40, 50 runs, it is as good as chasing a target in 13 overs.
Yeah. Food for thought that all these things are pre-planned. Avinash is jealous. It's Avinash Vasant! Not calling you Vasant, is it? Or Visant? No, just joking, Vasant. Good friend.
Vasant, you just have to swap A and I.
Yeah. Or vanish. I'll be vanished out of here. But we'll get Harry Potter to come on. Harry Potter, if you're watching, Akash, just come on. Give me a little breather
Harry
before
Potter
Jamie Alter comes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what is Bascali doing? Struggling a little bit.
Basically,
doing the rumor.
Trying to cancel out his IPL contract.
But yeah, Netherlands power play not the best that they wanted. I mean, especially when you're chasing 180, you at least expect the score to be around 45-50 at least. But that wasn't there. 27 for 2, Bhuvi doing Bhuvi things, Akshar doing Akshar things. And it's good to see Akshar just get amongst the wickets in the rigmarole because obviously Pakistan's a game to forget for him. But nevertheless, two good performers for us. And here we are.
Why is Harry Potter?
Flipendo, Aloha Mora. All these spells that Harry Potter had, I casted one.
I know only one. Wingardium. What is Wingardium Leviosa?
Yeah. Wingardium Leviosa. Oh, we've got 2 for 1. 1 plus 1.
What is 2 for? So.
Pakistan South Africa virtual quarterfinal lads. Sarvesh Kaunkar. Sarvesh, spot on. Spot on. Subscribe, Sarvesh, tell a friend. Because we're trying to get up to 20k by the World Cup. So me and Pramod will take a break. We'll have lunch.
Yeah, so if his name was interchanged, would it be Goankar?
Go on.
Go on.
Go on. Okay, so let's make the substitution. Our aces of spades are waiting. Akash and Anirudh. And they'll be joined by Somesh. So peace. And then I'll come back for Alta. For the Alta. Have you guys had lunch?
At the altar.
Altercation.
At the altar.
So you think the game is over?
Of course. I mean, technically, they're still alive.
Then why are they
146
bowling
of
Hardik?
13 overs.
Why are they bowling Hardik?
Because they did not have
Make
any
a
match
match out of it,
yesterday.
you know?
Because they cancelled the next session.
No, but
yesterday.
it's
Bowling Hardik to make a match out of it.
But there are some reports saying that he's not 100% fit.
Yeah.
Why would you
But
want to bowl with him?
India,
Who gave those reports?
India,
Unidentified sources.
India were also a similar position, right? After 7 overs, 36 for.
Except they don't have a
36
stick.
तो नहीं थे यार 36 तो
Yeah, they were more than that.
and they were one down.
Should have been two.
India should just loan Surya Kumar Yadav to Netherlands and say play left-handed. You want to see him play left-handed. But that could actually solve India's problem. Get him
Yeah.
to play left-handed and then So did you see the moment of the day?
On current form, will Australia swap Maxwell with Surya Kumar Yadav? Will they be open to do it?
The only thing that's stopping them from doing it is that Maxwell can bowl. Otherwise, I'm sure there's no reason.
That's the reason why Maxwell is in the team in the first place.
And Max's fielding also is, I think, slightly better than Surya.
Both are world-class fielders.
Both are world class, but his throw is better. So we have a question from Vipul Anand. He goes on to ask, do you feel overlooking Dhawan and making KL T20?
No, he's talking about Dhawan Kulkarni. Come on, dude.
Okay, sorry for autocorrect, but yeah, making KL T20 opener might have caused team more harm than good, as Rahul has failed to deliver on big occasions and added more pressure on team on
Not
big
at
match
all.
day.
Dhawan has a very terrible T20 record. He was dropped midway through the 2016 World Cup, if I'm not wrong. T20 World Cup.
And
And
that is when
Rahane had
Rahane
to
came in.
open. So, I mean, Rahul, all this criticism about him has only emerged in the last couple of years when he's become a superstar player from a normal good player.
Mhm.
And his record still is pretty
Insane.
pretty great for a T20 batter. But yeah, we have seen a considerable change in his approach in the last 18 months or so. So that's a
Yeah, I
big
mean,
problem.
talking about Dhawan and all would be a step backwards.
2 steps back.
Need to look at Shaw.
At
Yeah, I
36,
mean, if at all is there any conversation, it's player like Prithvi Shaw. What is
Or
he doing
Samson.
and why is
Make
not in the
Samson
mix?
open.
Yeah,
That could be an option.
or open with Kohli.
Open
And
with Kohli,
Open at
Samson
Kohli
at
and make
three.
Samson at 3.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Samson and Sky, that's like your. Oh, missed something chance. This is where Somesh is going to chip in, saying that DK is a bad
DK
keeper.
I've said that enough, so no point.
Blinded, but
He was not even expecting but TK.
That's a pretty straightforward stuff.
yeah, it is. It is.
So DK is the team for. Has any cricketer ever been in a cricket team for just one specific role? Like he can only play pace in the lowest number 16 to 20. That's his only that's the only reason he's in the team, because he's not a good keeper.
I'm thinking who
He's
who
not
else
a
is
not
there?
play
Yeah,
spin
even I'm thinking about certain players.
for spin.
A very niche role.
Yeah.
Scott Edwards. But
No,
again,
look
But
at
isn't
proper
isn't Bahuma in the side only to
Captain.
captain?
Yeah. That's
That's
that we
captain.
see.
Kane Williams, eh?
Yeah.
no, in
Finch.
terms of keepers,
Not just keeper.
Okay.
But what are your thoughts on all captains having a stinker of a tournament? None of them is in form.
Except Balbini.
yeah, except Balroni. But again, who else is there?
Do we have a triple header tomorrow as well?
No. Next tripleter is after there is
Sunday.
one match. Yeah,
So why is this group alone having triple headers? Not Balbini.
I have no idea. Probably this is there in India.
Yes, Rimon is captain. Arvind. Arvind is.
He is also not. I mean,
For a
that's
moment I
where
thought it's Radha is their captain and he's in terrific form.
I mean, that's a good question. Who else is there?
No
No,
one
we
is in
look at
form.
everyone.
Pakistan, Babar.
No one is in form.
Yeah, terrible.
Balbini is the only guy who has, and Nabi hasn't even played it, so we can't judge it.
Finch. Yeah.
And he has been
Let's
out
not
of
even
form
get
for a
to-
while.
Nabi,
Nabi, yeah. But I think the only thing going in Nabi's favor is that he's played a lot of Big Bash and perform. Oh, very good shot. We had a comment earlier which said, like, I think during the mid innings break where they talked about Colin Ackerman being good against spin, and he's showing that it's a well executed shot.
What was that ball though? It was a
I mean, he tried to throw it
spinner.
up, but it's just perfect execution from Colin Ackerman. Oh, he's gone back to
Still
the
feel there.
carom ball.
So I've gone a bit too
Is it Rohit?
conservative. in the chase.
Wow. Live Emirates for a dive.
Yes, is
No.
Obligated
The Netherlands
to.
have gone a bit too conservative in the chase. They have nothing to lose.
not really. I mean, I don't think they got conservative. just they are not able to match
Maybe.
India's.
And not
Because
like
after the first 2-3 overs, they tried. I mean, Max Wood just went for the shots. But after this wicket, it's so we have another comment again. I mean, KL Rahul. I guess we have talked a lot about him, but yeah, this question goes on to say KL's problem is his mindset.
yeah.
Looks so tentative. I know every bowler every batter or bowler.
Yeah,
Every
actually
batter
batter,
looks
I guess.
tentative at the start. Rohit does too, but at least he tries to put pressure on the bowlers. KL seems like he's just waiting. I don't know what he's waiting for. We don't know what he's waiting for.
Maybe you can take a leaf out of Surya Kumar Yadav's book, who, again, in that excellent interview, I've said this for the third time, said that every time every time he's
walks
under
out
pressure,
when
he
there's
just
wicket.
goes on attack.
Yeah.
And every time a wicket is fallen, he just tries to hit a 4 of the next ball so that the pressure is transferred.
And we know that KL is possible. I mean,
Yeah.
he can do it.
Whatever Sky does, KL can do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at least in Punjab, everyone is using the excuse that he has
Middle
a poor
order,
middle
yeah.
order. So don't blame him.
Yeah.
But then we saw in Lucknow. Lucknow had the most stacked middle order of any
Yes.
team, and Rahul basically cost them the IPL of this innings in the eliminator against
Yes.
RCB.
RCB.
You know?
And India, I mean, it's like the
When it
most
like the
fearsome
best,
middle order
yeah,
Yeah.
as there can be in a tournament.
short, but for more run.
What kind of pitches will India like to play? Given batsmen are not that great against spin, apart from Sky, and spin bowlers are also pretty good. I still feel they'll prefer to play on spicy
Like,
wickets.
Yeah, pacey
what
wickets.
they played against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Gone.
Even Perth.
Akshar strikes again. That's his second wicket of the night.
So I following Indian cricket closely for past few years. I just have an observation that India tend to do well where there is assistance for pace bowling.
Yeah.
Because
The batters
that's-
are good players of pace.
and the bowling weaknesses, if
Negated.
at all,
Yeah.
is sort of negated.
So is it fair to say most of the Indian batters are sort of can play three formats or three format kind of players? Even Surya Kumar Yadav is done very well with red ball. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean, so most of the players in our T20 side are also test cricketers.
Exactly.
In fact, Pant is a better test cricketer than he's a T20
Shami,
cricketer.
Yeah.
definitely
So,
a better test cricketer.
At least in Indian cricket, we are not into that era where we have players who are only good for T20 cricket. I mean,
Yet,
maybe
Yeah.
DK, but DK was part of the test up till 2018.
yeah.
So
Before he ultimately lost his place to Pant. And now Pant has lost his place
Place
to
to
DK.
DK.
in
Life
cricket.
is indeed a circle.
Yeah.
Talking about circles, we have Nikhil.
waiting, so maybe yeah,
Waiting.
we can add him. We can add him before we are not left with
It's
anything to talk about.
Work with.
Think, yeah, still some issues connecting him.
So what more boxes do India want to tick with the ball, or have they already ticked the one box they wanted to tick, which
Akshar
was
Patel.
Akshar? Because barring Akshar, everyone pretty much had a good game. This is
Yeah,
very
but
good
Aksar was
Pakistan.
already a tick box in my opinion. It was just one. Everyone is allowed a one bad game.
Exactly, but after that you ideally want him to bounce back, and which he has done today to his credit. So
Could India try bowling somebody like that? Could be Surya Kumar Yadav, just to see how they can bowl.
I don't think they want.
I mean, they're
humiliate-
anyway going to
What is
finish
the
the game.
point of this?
they don't want to take the piss out of Netherlands. It's
I would rather have
disrespectful.
Ashwin bowling all 4 overs and
First let Ashwin
Or
bowl
get
properly
Ashdeep.
instead of
Or you can
this,
try
this.
and this. So Ashwin's strategy is that Sami Santosh goes on to say, your pace attack for the upcoming series. Do you rush Bumrah with injury or continue with Bhumi, Shami,
Which series,
Arshdeep, Harshal? I think India playing New Zealand immediately,
and
but that's a ODI
That's
series.
ODIs.
Yeah,
I think,
Umran, Deepak Chahar,
and I think Prasidh Krishna. Prasidh Krishna
Prasidh
is
Krishna,
the
if he said,
ODI.
yeah. We forgot Siraj. Siraj is a definite
Siraj,
pick for,
Arshdeep.
yeah. Siraj, Shami, I think. Shami
Ashdeep
also
probably
goes.
deserves a break.
Shami definitely plays because
क्या निकल रहा है कैसा जा रहा है गेम?
Shami is a very good
They
ODI
want
bowler.
to preserve him. Because
So far, so good. Couldn't be happier, but yeah, I think
Scored runs. Good.
yes. Good call for Aksar. I think it's very interesting to see Aksar take wickets. I think there is a lot about him already out, but still teams are at times trying to figure out the difference in between trying to cut off sweep Aksar. I think it's the high release point, some trajectory. So many people, if you can recollect, have got out to him bold, trying to sweep and missing down leg, which we don't usually see happen too often with left arm spinners.
Exactly like that Morne Markle kind of like where you expect them to bowl that hard length, but they end up bowling fuller than you expect. Yeah, that's the thing with Akshar here.
And I think he's also getting a bit more bounce at times, so which is why then the full length is more like a good length, and then you're not really sure okay, what is the exact kind of release at him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I think Ackerman has played really well. Even Tom Cooper, this delivery, he played him really well. He just hit through the line.
Two veterans who have.
And we have another veteran bowling.
One Protea and one Australian playing for Netherlands.
It's a World Cup, of course.
Of course.
And we have multiple Kiwis in this team also.
Yeah.
And just
but is it a surprise?
Ripon just missed out.
Yeah.
Ripon, if he could have just waited a couple of more weeks, he would have played in the World Cup.
So we have another comment going on to say Akshar is a better T20 bowler than Jadeja. I think Anirudh wrote a piece on Akshar Patel and why he's not like a light version of Jadeja, why he's a...
Basically, Akshar is a better bowler to left-handers than Jadeja is.
Yeah.
Jadeja might be slightly better than Akshar to right-handers, but it's not substantial enough for us to say that Jadeja is a better bowler than Akshar. But obviously, Jadeja is above Akshar when it comes to batting. So it's a trade-off.
So we have Jamie also on standby. Can you please add him? Yes, we have the screen filled now. Hi Jamie, how are you?
Nikhil, how are you?
I'm all good.
यार आज तो रैंक की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी बिना रैंक के क्या
I was just gonna say यार मतलब मैं केएल राहुल के पीछे लग जाऊं यार because this match is so different from the last one, you know. काफी फीका मैच है ये, but I mean it's good for Surya Kumar Yadav, good for Akshar, man. I think Akshar after the last match, you know, okay, only bowled one over. Iftikhar was looking to attack him, just wasn't his day, and then that controversial run out. So I think if anyone's place was in doubt from this 11, it would have been his. Though I didn't expect him to be dropped because Rahul and Rohit Sharma like to reward consistency. But just good from a personal thing to see him do something well too. Acha, no rant.
But do you think they should keep rewarding KL Rahul's consistency as well?
Yeah, so मैं क्या ही बोलूं. Nikhil knows how many shows he's done with me. I have a soft spot for KL Rahul when it comes to the Test format and the One Day format. But I mean, look, I thought he would do something just because.
I think KL Rahul in Test format is a different story. And he showed us in England and in South Africa that he's actually a very good Test player. But yeah.
यहाँ पे लेकिन look, we know the long rope he's got. We know he's not going to be dropped. But something has to give, man. Just too inconsistent. And I won't say anything else on KL Rahul the whole show, I promise.
This entire show today has been about him. I mean, because this was a game where all of us were expecting 100 from him, but he in games like this, he's in a tricky situation where even if he scores, he'll be lambasted for being a winner batsman. And now he's failed at of course where everyone talking about इस game में भी नहीं बनाया तो किस में बनाएगा भाई?
Guys play fantasy cricket. Like you play fantasy cricket now and then. I know Nikhil does. So हमारा जो हमारा group है.
Nikhil plays enough fantasy cricket for all of us.
Yeah, he plays fantasy tournaments.
तो हमारा जो एक group है, the group name keeps changing based on the match. तो सुबह को मैंने group का नाम रखा KL Rahul 100 loading. और ठीक है, पूरे group में से 80% went and made KL Rahul captain. I didn't make him captain or vice captain. बहुत फायदा हुआ मेरा आज.
Moral of the story is never ever trust Jamie and his group ka naam.
Never.
I think the day KL Rahul comes out, Sumesh, you just need Gurkirat and JB to do a show for 1 hour. Just unleash them. No, nothing. You don't need anything else. Just go live with these two, and you'll have a fun. You'll have a blast.
See, point wo hai na ke so a very weird comparison, but back in the day, Adi Chopra said this about Vivek Oberoi that he has the potential to be the next Shah Rukh Khan, but the problem with him is he thinks he already is. So the reason we lambast KL Rahul because he had the potential to be the next Kohli, and actually now he has the potential to be even Butler or Surya Kumar Yadav. But the problem with him is he doesn't think that he can be. It's the opposite thing. He's so underconfident that he doesn't back himself. When everyone else
I think Srivatsan is
backs him,
right. Completely right. We have reached the point where we are going to go after him until he wins a semi-final or final by himself. Yeah, I think that's the only way KL redeems himself.
Yeah, actually, so just like the last game, right? I said that on air that I'm never going to criticize Kohli if KL wins either of the semis or final by himself. I'm never going to criticize him ever.
It's like when people are criticizing Dhoni, uske baad Dhoni decided Delhi Capitals ke against, I'm going to score this one knock. That's it. Nobody's ever talking.
That's a 40-year-old Dhoni. We're talking about a 30-year-old peak KL Rahul.
No, I mean with a 40-year-old mentality. So can't.
Wow, Ashwin is saving runs. And
That was not so subtle. Kya baat hai? But I mean, look, jokes apart, that is what you judge people by, right? What you do in the knockout matches, be it a knockout, I mean, or a must-win match. Like if a series is locked at 2-2, you're playing the fifth match. Generally, as sport fans, this is what we look at, right? Who do you score the runs against? Kaun se situation, man. Bilkul, like Srivatsan said, I mean, I know there's a bit of humor in there, but you need to score in these matches, right? Simple si baat hai, yeah.
Yep.
So Vipul goes on to ask, out of South Africa and Pakistan, which team do you feel is better considering Australian conditions, and which team do you think will progress from India's group? Nikhil, you could probably answer that.
Pakistan is yet to win a T20 in Australia.
Yeah.
So over New Zealand, no. Uske baad New Zealand won.
That's okay. That's okay. But I think Pakistan's batting is far more a problem as compared to South Africa. South Africa have more options with the bat also. I know I might be overestimating, but you can have the likes of Parnell, Rabada still chipping you with some handy runs lower down the order, which Haris Rauf and everybody can also hit sixes, but on their great days. But you need that middle order strongness that I think South Africa has. If you look at the strike rates, I think all of them have a career striker also, which ranges around 150 to 160, which is great to have. And they're all decent players off the back foot. And Australia, you need that as a prerequisite to do well. So I think in that comparison, also South Africa are a bit ahead. And also in terms of the bowling depth that South Africa have is slightly better as compared to Pakistan.
So do you think even a 10-man South Africa is better than the 11-man Pakistan?
Only 10 men.
10 versus 10.
I mean,
10 versus Asif Ali and Baumat.
I was waiting.
It is. I don't know. It's. I still prefer South Africa. So.
Actually, we were discussing that there's a potential where they can replace Baumat with literally anyone. I mean, they can even play Marco Jansen, have him open. They'll give him one more bowling option, and that will be a better bet than having Baumat. But so, Jamie, what do you think? Oh, cricket for Ashwin.
I mean, what you're asking me about the Bavuma conundrum?
No, I'm just asking about
who are better.
None of the captains are informed this tournament. What is this? This is like a captain jinxer tournament is turning out to be. There's no, I mean, apart from Andy Balboni, no captain is in any touch.
I mean, yeah, it was very strange Rohit Sharma innings. After what was the score after power play? 31-32. Very surprising that after 6 overs, Rohit Sharma was still there and batting that. I think by the time the power play ended, he'd given like 3 chances. So there were shades of Sachin's knock against Pakistan in that 2011 semi-final, where he was scoring runs, but he looked awful. I'm sure Rohit would take that 52 that he made, but was it a convincing innings? Absolutely not. But again, at the end of the day, if any of these captains goes on to win the tournament and has a terrible run, I mean, I think Aaron Finch is the prime example here. This year, he's Australia's highest run scorer. मुझे एक भी नहीं उसका याद भी नहीं है, Whenever I say LBW bold, and मैं देख रहा हूँ 3 दिन का Maxwell होगा, Warner होगा, Marsh होगा, Wade होगा, Aaron Finch from 449 runs. मैं बोला यार, I should be watching a lot more cricket. So, I mean, it's very strange, but yeah, all the captains barring Balboni are definitely struggling here.
ये तो बहुत बार होता है. Aaron Finch बैटिंग करने आता है. Oh, he's susceptible to incoming ball. Oh, he's susceptible to left arm pace. Oh, he's susceptible to spin. मैंने कहा इतने रन बनाए कैसे? इस बंदे ने तो ओवर डिलीवर करा है अपने करियर में. सालों से खेले जा रहा है.
अरे, I'm telling you that Shanaka should have bowled out Theekshana 4 in a row. मैंने जब भी इस साल लगाया टीवी जब इन दोनों का मैच है, Ikshana is like struggling, and that match one guy is going for 52 in 3 overs, and this guy bowled 2 overs for like 4 runs. I'm like, Finch है तो लगातार इसको दे दो, विकेट पक्का देगा यार वो.
I guess Sri Lanka were trying to not dismiss Finch.
I think Finch was trying to dismiss himself. He's like, catch pakad lo. Koi to pakad lo.
कोई पकड़ लो, एक और chance दूंगा मैं. One more.
Catching practice.
Casually done.
Yeah. Iyer also would do the same thing except drop it in the end.
Riyan Parag will also do.
Okay.
He'll catch it.
रियान पराग तो पहले उसके नीचे खड़े होकर डांस करेगा थोड़ा सा, फिर कैच पकड़ेगा. इतना टाइम है.
डांस करेगा, फैन से फोटो लेगा, फैन को फोन वापस देगा, फिर करेगा ऐसा.
बीच में अपने नंबर पे फॉरवर्ड भी कर लेगा फोटो.
And then
पर
there
रन
will be
नहीं
one,
बनाएगा.
and then there will be one commentator who sing, "Look at his antics."
What are you? Have you played 100 tests for India?
We all know who the commentator
From
is.
Pranav.
Oh, we have another comment. He goes on to say, but Pakistan plays with Jazba and Junoon. How can you discount that? That is true.
That
Nikhil Singh plays
is,
and-
yeah, that is the 11th player. So we asked about the 10 guys. So that is the 11th. I think.
Yeah.
No, I think Pakistan are just. I do feel they have a very good pace attack in terms of the options in Naseem. I don't know why they haven't tried Wasim Jr. much. Maybe we might see him today. Not for his batting depth, but you need to use Nawaz better. You can't ask him to bowl seam. Even if he has to defend 24 runs or 38 runs, you still don't ask him to go away from what is his strength. So if you're not confident of him bowling his primary skill, might as well just play somebody like a Wasim Jr. And then you could even use his batting for whatever. I'm not saying he'll give you a 15 ball 50, but a 20 ball 35 भी दे दिया अगर just at the right time use nicely तो भी हो जाएगा. And also I feel Iftikhar ka spot should not be fixed in terms of the number of overs that he has to spare. I think Shadab has to be used much better. He's almost wasted in half of the games that they play, and I feel he's a far better option as compared to Iftikhar.
Right, let's of course make a small change and tweak in the in-house settings. Jamie, good to see you as always. I'm seeing how you guys are being polite as ever in your praises for the Indian team. Nevertheless, though, a good win, a big win will be accepted by all means.
Yeah, I was just actually scared. I was just scared कि मैं ऐसा क्या बोला कि 2 रन उठ के जा रहे हैं.
Jazba and Junoon.
गौर से देखिए यही है वो.
Vikram Mohanty is asking, guys, do you think Sky still needs to prove himself? By फिर तो सबको everyone needs to prove themselves. Everyone.
In Tripki's
Don Bradman को भी वापस आना पड़ेगा and he'll have to prove himself.
Thank God Don Bradman is not an Indian. Otherwise, 97 कैसे 100 नहीं.
Yeah, Jamie, you were saying something.
Where Vikram Mohanty's question comes from, but again, I think this is only Sky's like 3rd or 4th World Cup match against a top team. So thoda, I mean, just all that he's achieved in roughly 12 to 15 months of playing international cricket, I think the numbers speak for itself. If this trend continues and he doesn't score against the big teams in World Cups, फिर शायद, but फिलहाल Vikram, I think right now it's a bit slightly harsh.
Yeah.
But entitled.
And actually, if you think about it from the perspective of when Kohli was the Test captain and he used to use that one intent while even defending. So even against the game against Pakistan, the first half volley he received, he just spanned it down the ground for 4. Even when the team were like 2 down early on. So he has the intent, he has the confidence. It's just that he just needs one big knock against a big nation to prove all of this lay all of these theories to rest.
Yeah, we talk about strike rate in the first 10 balls, but what about strike rate of the first ever ball? I'm sure Surya is like number 1 in that regard. With 6, 4, normally starts off minimum 2.
Minimum 2. Look at that.
But yeah, great innings needed at that point.
Given how poor Rahul was and given how slow Rohit was, this kind of innings, you can't say, oh, it came against Netherlands. This was a fantastic knock when you need something like that, right? Virat Kohli's role is simple. I'm going to bat out, somebody else, please come and give the fireworks. So from that angle, Sky was fantastic, man. You can't say, oh, it didn't come against the top team. It's a World Cup. Every match matters. He did his job. Fantastic.
And there are not that many batters like Sky in world cricket, let alone the Indian cricket team, who can just grab the initiative so quickly, like how he's done. And it's not a sample size of 4 or 5 games. Like we've seen Sky do this numerous times. It's quite crazy.
And scoring against Netherlands is very difficult, right? They are literally the world. They're like 2 players New Zealand se hain, 2 South Africa se hain.
Rest of the world.
It's a proper knock against rest of the world.
So this is the India's rest of the world. That the Australia moment for India now.
Concussion.
No, but just to pick up on what Avnish, you were saying about that sample size, right? This term sample size isn't like 99% of cricket data, cricket stats. It comes down to sample, right? When you open up any player's page, जो average strike rate आप देखते हैं, this is across a career. It's never accurately indicative. I was on a fantastic show with someone who's a stats person, and he was saying, if you look at overall, not just like across the from the start to finish, like Surya Kumar's played 40 matches. It's a fantastic career strike rate, 185, but that's across. On average, if you look at the middle overs, his strike rate is 155. In that same period, the number 1 ranked batsman Rizwan is like 104.8. So you need to, like, these sample sizes, get into it, get more detail, and the story is fascinating, which is why Surya Kumar, for me, like I said last time, number 1 going around.
Yeah.
We keep harping about how he's a catalyst of change in the middle overs, and that stat depicts it really well. The fact that not many batters around the world, I can think of maybe Maxwell or Livingston, who come in and then
but even they have this like susceptibility.
Correct. So I mean, what are the plans that teams kind of identify to make the Sky? Because obviously we've seen it with other players, but if you were planning and plotting against Sky, and this is for Nix and Alter to jump in as well, how would you plan against him? Does he have a chink in his armor?
Beamer Maro's also.
No, I've seen one plan that teams have executed against him, which is make him sweep of the first few deliveries and place a deep square leg fielder, and he'll try to hit the. I mean, he tries to execute the
against
sweep.
his ego.
Yeah.
Or stay with the no ball again.
Yeah.
That's the only drawback of all Steve. I mean, that's the only feedback I have for him. By no ball, mud dal किसी दिन बहुत important time पे no ball डलेगी और सब गड़बड़ हो जाएगी.
You mean like Bumrah?
Technically,
I think photo match उससे नहीं हरेगा, but photo वही circulate होगा.
Let's take one from
No,
Yeah.
let's
just finish this. Sorry, my bad.
I think with Sky, there is another plan that teams have tried, and I think we saw that in the Australia series as well, that they are targeting him with back of length just into the body. Even England tried that for quite enough time. He got inside edge and got bowled quite often in that short amount of time. So I think it's just the way Sky plays, that he wants to give himself room and play the uppercut or the slash, but it's not going to be easy to control the bounce every time. So and he doesn't get the room as well to play. So I think that is one place where I've seen teams make a definite note, something like they do with Hardik. Go hard lengths into the body, but this is still more like off stump and 4-stump line for Surya. And of course,
how Ralph dismissed him in the last few matches.
Yeah, exactly. Just short one coming into him, cramping for him. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I don't think Ashwin should have said this in his YouTube. Probably gives away a lot, which it shouldn't have, but now everybody knows. That I think Rajasthan showed that in this current IPL, that you have to use these batters very smartly. Not ask them to bat like a batter, just ask them, this is your matchup. If this guy comes, these are our areas, go hit. So I think that Ashwin, we know, can use the field well. It's not always about getting the big hits. He can just clear the infield. And I'm not saying he'll run quick twos every time, but he'll still get enough gaps for you to get few boundaries.
In principle, I agree with you. JB coming here with regards to how we've seen these tactics being used in T20. Do you think India are pretty rigid or stubborn? I don't know what the best word to use is to go for these things. I know they used Akshar, of course, which is pretty much like for like. We saw Jadeja also being thrown up in that Pakistan game last year. But how often will we see India tamper with that top 5? I don't think that could be the case, right? Or JB?
I don't see it. I know that this year there's been a lot of chopping and changing, but that's got more to do with who's been rested or who's been, or who's been out injured, things like that. Like the punt experiment, I was all for it, but I don't think we saw it more than twice. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maximum 3 times. We have a wicket. No, we have a 6. Things like that. I think you're right. I think rigid is the word. But just to go back to the comment about Rajasthan Royals, I said it then as well. If you're banking on Ashwin to play that role, now you're not on the right track. I'm really sorry to say. He has far more to offer in his 4 overs be it Rajasthan. If India ever does that, I would be very, very disappointed because you have players. If you want to be flexible, I think there's better players to try it out than Ashwin. And this is not a slight against his skill. The guy's a fantastic all-rounder. But Abhi, to expect him to score runs, even at number 7, 8 is a lot. And to use him like 3, like Rajasthan, I know he's a 50. He's really improved the 6 hitting, but it's not a solution. It's not even a part-time fix. That's my view on that.
No, but I'll just add to that. It's not a part-time fix, but it is just using a low-value wicket. Now, if India is in a position where Rohit and Virat might get stuck against a series of slower bowlers likely to come, I would happily send an Ashwin and Akshar Patel to go out there and hit and give me those 40 runs in like 15-20 balls. It just gives the buffer to the rest of the batters to not take that undue risk. Now, the point here is not tell that they cannot do, but the point is I don't want them to get out trying to hit him, which is the negative matchup. But I could get a bowler who is handy against this particular matchup, and he could give me those boundaries, and that could help them pace the wrong better. So I don't think it's like against the batter, but I just feel it is using your resources much better as compared to maybe losing all your batters in the first set of.
No, valid point you mentioned, Nick. But can you cite an example in this tournament so far? I know it's just been round 2.
I don't think.
But have we seen something funky done by any team management right now? I mean, Somesh is in tournament tweet saying the dumbest tactical move in the tournament.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter. Why?
Shari's bowled just 1 over.
Yeah.
Leg spinner, 2 righties.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Kohli doesn't take spin on, so he just bowled 1 over. That is the dumbest move of the tournament for me. I mean, most of the captains have done decently. I mean, more often than not. But this is like a glaring error.
From whatever little I followed UAE, I think UAE did that in the very first game when they sent Kashif Daud up at 3 because they wanted them to hit spin. Because Mohammad Wasim is that designated anchor kind of guy that he bats through 10-15 overs and then they get the others to hit. I think that's what they tried. Is that a catch?
No.
So I think teams
I think
Shami should take at least a couple. Akshar has done his job, so I'm happy that way. But coming back to that point, I think Pakistan did that very well in Asia Cup. They promoted Shadab in the right game. They promoted Nawaz in the right game. So these are just low-value wickets. And it's not saying that an Asif Ali or a Haider Ali cannot do this. But the point is, you make I think the best example is what MS tried when he sent, the ball was swinging and he sent Harbhajan and Chahal. So that is proper. You are putting the bowlers off their legs. You are messing with their plans. They are likely to get a better bowler on because they want to dismiss them. And you invariably save the weaker bowler for your better batter. So I think it's just trying to go up on the opposition. And so far, I think we've seen glimpses of it. But again, I think you need a very different team environment for that to really prosper in terms of, okay,
you
I don't mind having to go.
Cameos that people play, right? But what is the team management thinking of any team? Would they give themselves about 10 balls and then be like, listen, if this doesn't click for you, then retire out? Jamie?
Has to happen because look, Shadab Khan for his PSL team, he bats at 3 a lot of the time. He bats at 4, right? Ashwin bats at 3 once every 5 years, right? So if the team is actually using this as a tactic, I'd be very, very worried. I don't think they are. Even Akshar Patel has come at 4, 5, but the results don't show, right? A Jadeja coming to 4 to offset, I get that. But Akshar has gotten half a dozen chances. Usne kuch nahi kiya. So clearly he's not the guy. And you mentioned Nikhil getting 40 very fast. I don't think Ashwin in his life is going to get 40 in a T20 match because he's not 23, 24 now. Na? For Ashwin to get 40, usko lagatar hafte mein 8 din usko wo role nibhana padega. I just don't think it's part of their plan. So, and a wicket is fallen to Shami like you wanted, Nikhil.
More points.
More fantasy points.
More points to you.
Yeah. No, on an analytical do you think it's high time we change this batting position and just talk about entry points in T20s?
Yeah, like how Karthik is.
Yeah, just talk about which players.
But then what is Ashwin's entry point? 19.5?
No, Ashwin is not a pinch hitter. So he's an anchor. So his entry point would be 8 for 3 or 8 for 4. Some sort of
8 for 4. 8 for 4 mein to kuch bhi bhej
do. Going to clarify his stance there, guys, saying nothing against Guy. He's a risk-taking player and invaluable to the team. Our middle order needs him badly. Hope he keeps knocking more and more runs. I think damage control from Vikram Mohanty in the comments over there, but just taking advantage.
I think one of the bits about. I don't like. I'm not going against you, Vikram. I'm just saying there is a very general sentiment these days that you take out stats, you filter, and you'll find one weakness for every batter. Like,
Yeah.
okay, he's not scored against this side, he's not scored against this type of bowling. But it will happen. Not all of this is controlled. They don't always get to choose who they play. So if somebody has scored runs against weaker opposition, so why hasn't the other team scored? So I think why have the other batters not scored? So I think you'll never get that perfect player that start at 200, accelerate at 240, finish at 3. It's not going to happen. We are always going to have imperfection, and it's actually the imperfection that sells. Now the Kohli struggle is why the Kohli finish was good. The Dhoni struggle and then Dhoni finish or struggle is why there is a story. So I think that is the context that we get. That you're very. It's going to be very rare to get perfect players in that sense. But yes, sorry for that.
A lot of these numbers are actually thrown around cumulatively as well, because even for Sky, if you look at his numbers against slow left arm would be not as great as his numbers against old bowling times. But then this doesn't take into account that maybe when a slow left arm bowler is bowling, there is a lefty at the other end, and all Surya does is just take a single and give the lefty the strike to take down the matchup, and the numbers won't tell you this story.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like sometimes numbers paint a different tale, but these are the things which kind of get swept under the carpet, right? More often than not.
Even the Kohli against spinners,
it's
that Kohli struggles, but he never gets out to spinners. So he always maintains. I mean, he doesn't get out to.
So he goes at a runner ball, but his average is
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where you'll have to be very careful with some numbers and statistics, because you can view it both ways. I can view it as saying that Kohli is great against spin because he never gets out.
And this is where batting pairs is very important, and this is where that is why you see why Kohli and Sky click, because this is the word
perfect foil.
This is the cliche where complementing each other comes into picture.
Yeah.
I mean, even Hardik or Kohli that day, because Hardik is more than happy to take down spin.
Yeah.
Kohli is more than happy to just give Hardik the strike.
Yeah, and Kohli loves playing second fiddle. Like we've seen it even times even when RCB with Gale and De Villiers, Kohli needed someone like that to, of course, have his final say. And maybe players like that have really propelled Kohli.
And in the death overs, it was the other way around. I mean, Kohli was the one who can take down high pace, and Hardik was ki, khel le, tu main last over mein dekh lunga.
Just seeing the points table, guys, how lucky have India been in terms of the weather staying out? Everyone was talking about the Melbourne game being washed out. They've got 2 points 4 points out of 2 games essentially. And we've seen it with South Africa, a bit them in the backside against Zimbabwe. What's your prediction? Just a quick prediction before the Mr. Bean derby that we're going to see at 4:30. Jamie, if you know, you know. I don't know if you saw that little meme of the Zimbabwe fan kind of replying to the PCB post saying, "You guys gave us a fake Mr. Bean. How dare y'all?" And I mean, that Mr. Bean actually looks reminiscent of Ron Atkinson. But Pakistan banana skin there, Jamie? No. Points in the bag.
Look, should be points in the bag because it's Perth and their fast bowling is just so good on these tracks. Probably you look at Zimbabwe, that's up in the air. Let's see if this is the wicket. It should be.
Bhuvi is having
amazing.
World because 2 for 2,
2.2 overs, 2 for 2.
No, 2.3. Yeah, that's it's spoiled by 1 ball. Otherwise, 2.2, 2 for 2.
Perfect, and it's seemingly becoming.
Going back, I would say, if you barring Muzarabani, there's no Zimbabwe bowler who could potentially exploit any weakness in Pakistan's batting. So, points in the bag, like you said, should be.
Raza is mystery option.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Pakistan bowlers will have that say, but like you said,
I'm more worried about Zimbabwe's batting because I think. I mean, I know we touched upon this earlier, but I feel Pakistan's bowling pace attack, I rate it even above South Africa's pace attack.
New Zealand's pace attack?
No, I think Pakistan has the best pace attack because there are some weaknesses in every other pace attack. I don't rate Rabada as highly as other people do. Rabada in Test cricket is different, but Rabada at T20 bowler is mediocre, and NGD is prone to having off days, which is not true for Pakistan Troika. Yes. They are bang on in at least 9 out of 10 games.
Yeah, that one game being India. Come on, facts are facts. Pramod Anand, who was joining us a while ago, going on in the comments and saying, I reckon Namibia would have been putting up a better fight in this group, and that's why I wanted them to make it through ahead of the Dutch. Namibia have some good players, but it's always good to see Netherlands in our group, especially in the World Cup, because the 2003, 2011 vibes.
But with Netherlands, it just felt like it was meant to be because they could have lost the UAE game as well had it not been for that drop catch.
Yeah.
And then Namibia game also, it came very close. They almost choked, and they of course lost the Sri Lanka game. And all Namibia had to do was beat UAE. And UAE, I mean, all said and done, they are the weakest of the all 16 teams. But I mean, for Netherlands, it was meant to be. But then I was backing them to at least beat Bangladesh, but it couldn't happen. Now let's see what happens between them and Zimbabwe.
Shari is turning out to be not just.
They had the Bangladesh match in the hand. I mean, they lost by 10, 11 runs. वहाँ पे भी 2 drop catches थे. They had them on the mat at 60 odd for 5. So I mean, I think between the two, Netherlands have overall probably played slightly better cricket, which is why I'm not surprised they're here in this group.
But Jamie and Nix, how much do you guys enjoy these kind of games? Netherlands versus India. We saw it, of course, last year in Namibia and India and Scotland. Are we one of those teams who just root this? Because we were speaking at the top of the show where New Zealand are one of those sides in tournaments who just get these 2 points done always with the smaller nations. But India as well, I've never seen them have a hiccup against these teams. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think it's a fair comment, but it also has to do with the amount of cricket that these two nations play, irrespective of where they are and what they do. So India are in much worse and much better situations far often, and they know what to do to get out of that. Which is why I feel World Cups are not going to promote the game. We need to play bilaterals regularly with all of these countries. And I'm not saying you send your best possible strongest 11. Send whoever you want to, but play cricket with Scotland, Netherlands, UAE. Play everyone people will watch. Don't give us that excuse that people will not watch. Because that way to get them used to these conditions. Now, you're not going to allow them to play in your T20 leagues. That's not going to happen. But if you get to play them regularly, like Netherlands played so many nations in this very season. They had a very good time. Ireland played a lot of teams. So you see them getting better because they see in front of them and they learn on the go. I think these games, I don't know how much it's going to help them that when they are short out for 100, there is hardly any time to even grasp anything that, okay, this is what I learned today or this is something I can do better. But if they play a bilateral, the 3-match, 5-match series, there is still something for them to work on and get better. And then when they come to the World Cups, they'll probably see a better version of them. So I'm of that philosophical mode that you need to play them far often. And that's when you'll see them also put up a better show as compared to fight. And yes, always in for watching lesser known teams beating bigger nations because that's the fun.
Yeah, good point there, Jamie. Just before you add on to Nick's, it makes me think about obviously Netherlands and Namibia not having that many players in their team who rub shoulders in the IPL and stuff, because maybe those small little differences help. And is it, in the larger scheme of things, the onus on the big three in cricket, England, Australia, and India, to set up these stores? I mean, we've seen now India doing it with Ireland, and we're seeing, obviously, we play most of Afghanistan for their first test. Do you think England, Australia, and India should really push that more?
I think you both have touched upon it while saying different things. I mean, you mentioned the 2003 and 2011. These are the only times these two countries have played, right? So I think that sums it up then. It has to be an ICC event because the top three do not see it as a viable option. But even in those two matches, 2003, India were 114 for 5 and finally limped their way to 204 because of Dinesh Mongia. And the second match in 11, they also struggled to beat them there. So while it's a different format, there's enough indication that in two matches, Netherlands have put two very strong favorite teams under the pump. Now, coming to this year and what you mentioned second, England have gone there to Netherlands for 3 matches. I think Pakistan went for 3. I think West Indies or New Zealand went there. So there's enough teams going there. Yeah, exactly. It requires the BCCI to say, you know what, the next time we come to England, we'll hop over to Amstelveen and we'll play you there. Why did India play Ireland? Because most of the players were already on their way to England or they were already in England playing a test match. But the good thing is that now that on certain days, it's not going to be uncommon to have an Indian team playing 2 different venues and 2 different formats. So you might see these kind of teams now getting a chance. But yes, I love seeing these teams and I would love to see them more because, like you said, Nikhil, kya fayda hai if you're 100 all out, right? It's personal stats, but collectively the team can only get better when they meet these teams more regularly.
Yep.
I only draw one parallel, which is in football we have seen anything can happen, and that's what makes football very interesting because any team can beat any team. So if cricket becomes that, it's even better.
Yeah, and I think Afghanistan in that regard, maybe they've just had people like Rashid and Nabi to carry the torch, but now they've just become like, superb. And Arshdeep gets his first wicket, by the way, and Netherlands are folding before we know it, 101 for 8. So we'll get a new substitution on in just a bit. Are you guys doing watch along for all India games? Mate, we're going to put out a schedule, Srivatsan, to tell you exactly all the watch alongs we're doing. We're doing it for all India games, that's a no-brainer, but we're also doing it for some marquee games, such as tomorrow, England versus Australia, quarterfinal, virtual quarterfinal, I would say, with those teams staying on the battle. Just to finish up this chat.
Yeah, and this is something that we were discussing when the game began.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion that, again, I would reiterate what I said earlier.
Yeah.
That to involve the associate nations, all the bilaterals should be converted into tri-series or four-team tournaments.
Yeah.
And that would be much more watchable. Let's say if India are playing in England and they have a bilateral 5-match series or a 3-match series, just convert it into a tri-series, involved Netherlands or Ireland. And similarly, Australia can do the same. South Africa can do the same with Namibia and Zimbabwe, Kenya, and all those sort of nations. Or the other alternate is just have these smaller nations participating in the domestic tournaments of the more settled nations, like Nepal playing in Syed Mushtaq Ali or I
know it sounds bizarre. Don't throw pelters, but Jamie, you were doing this and you were liking the thought. Tell me why.
I'm on the same page, and just to go back to what you were saying, you mentioned Rashid Khan. These players, that should be out.
No, he's not.
These players, I believe that they get a lot more like a Rashid or a Mujib playing BBL, playing PSL, playing CPL, playing these leagues more than they do playing ICC World Cricket League Division 1 or 2, because it's in these leagues, right? Ireland are doing so well because probably a third or a fourth, maybe even half the team is associated with some county team, right? And even with Netherlands, they have guys. They have Tom Cooper, they have Ackerman. These guys play BBL, they play Sheffield Shield, they play the 100, they play in Ram Slam, whatever it's called. So more than international cricket, especially for these teams that don't play a lot of bilaterals against top teams, they learn far more by playing these leagues. So Bilkul, if you want to get a Namibia or a Nepal in the smack, do it, yeah. You wouldn't be the first country to do it. I think you'll be very late in doing this. Karo, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. We've taken the comment, guys, but we'll take it again. Yes, Srivatsan doing watch-alongs for all India games. And on that note, let's introduce the man for the first time today, Shubh Agarwal, joining us, who is busy doing Dutch things.
No, I'm busy doing writing reviews.
Absolutely, I'm just taking the piss out of you. I don't know how this is called not out. Is it not out?
Yes,
Might
going
be
down.
on the leg side. No,
अगर
hitting on the front.
ये उतना ही out है जितना KL Rahul out.
Yeah, Jamie, you mentioned in the last watch along that Rohit keeps backing KL. You should have backed him for that review.
That was very surprising.
There's an early forecast saying tomorrow it's going to rain. Oh my God! If England and Australia have to share the points there,
Oh, it's on.
bro, Ireland could qualify.
Yeah.
Ireland and New Zealand.
India versus Ireland semis. Back to 2003 days where India played Kenya in the semi.
Nix and Jamie, is it fair to say that if India have to avoid, wicket fast, Steve's so good on him. If we have to avoid one team right now, ever in the tournament, semis or finals, it's New Zealand, right? They're not nice guys. They just have smiles. It's a facade. It's just a facade.
No, I want to beat them to get past it, to get past that stage. That okay, it is always going to happen versus them. There will be a delay. There will be a late start. India will lose the toss, left arm seamer. Let's get over it. Let's get a good 100 for 0 kind of start, and then finish this once and for all.
Rohit was just trying to indicate the umpire that he got it absolutely wrong. He's pulling out the Mithun Chakravarti disco moves.
Yeah, but then this is more out than KL out for sure. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be this out.
Yeah, so he was deep in his crease, and obviously I couldn't see the 2D vision.
It'll be interesting if Shami gets a wicket here, because how often do we see two teams being bowled out for 101 on the same day in the same pitch? I mean, if you know, you know.
Oh, nice. Let's find more unrelated similarities.
Rajesh Human going to say Harry, a magic stick doesn't work against Ashwin. Wait and see at the end of the series. I think that was aimed at Akash because he has a Harry Potter vibes about him.
I was just about to say, Ashdeep kitna acha insaan hai. No stat padding. He performed so well against Pakistan and see wicketless 2 overs for 20 runs against Netherlands, and now he's bowled a very good over and ruined the day.
It makes my predictions come closer because I picked our.
What do you think of a famous Sri Lankan statistician mathematician is going to make of India's win today?
he might be talking about that Daniel
Alexander being looped in as a conversation.
That is the most amount of attention that he's got by mistake.
Oh god. 102 for 9.
So what has India gained from this game, man?
What have we gained? That's a good question. Jamie, next. What have we gained from this?
I mean, purely well short. Purely statistical, I think the fact that Ashwin's got wickets is a big plus because of late his job is perhaps, he's going to disagree. He loves taking wickets, but overall his job is not to come and run through attack. It's to come and play that holding role, which I think was his biggest contribution to Rajasthan Royals getting to the final this year. Let Chahal take the wickets. This guy coming and keeping a hold on runs. 4 overs, none for 25, 1 for 28. This is golden. And pretty much he's been playing that same role even since he's been recalled. In the Asia Cup, there were those 2 matches. He didn't get wickets, but in a match when when teams are scoring 200, and even after that, in one of the bilaterals, one of the teams scored 211, I think Australia, and he had none for 39. In a match where everyone's going for 10.5, 11, you're going for 8 point something. That's golden. But to just spur the man on a bit and to get that competitor in him, out and about, his 2 wickets, I think, are a big plus. And like we discussed earlier, Akshar, after that match, getting wickets, these small things are, I think, massive. Because you want every single bowler you pick feeling, hey, bhai, I actually belong here and I have something to offer also.
Yeah, that raises the question about defensive spinners in the world, and I think we normally associate or paint Ashwin in that brush. Do you think he's the best defensive spinner in the world? Okay.
I'd say Mitchell Sander is much closer in that sense, and he also ends up taking a lot more wickets as compared to Ash. So
and
I think
Maharaj of late, I feel he has been.
Maharaj. Yeah, I think Maharaj is very, very underrated. Both in Test and
India South Africa game in Indore, I guess, where everyone was going to the economy of 10, 12, and his economy was under 6. I couldn't believe my eyes. How can you go for only 23 runs in your 4 overs in that match? So yeah, Keshav Maharaj is a good shout as well.
Yeah.
So Nikhil is like इन लोगों को मैं अपने फैंटेसी टीम में कभी नहीं लेता क्योंकि डिफेंस
विकेट नहीं आते
पता है मुझे पॉइंट्स
नहीं, I took Mitchell Sander. I have R. Ashwin as well in my second team. So actually, these are the guys you want to take because not many people take them because there's a general perception about them not being.
They can also create a difference with their fielding, and whenever Santner, if he gets to bat, you can bank on him to score those 10-15 runs, which can be very crucial. So,
but Santner did well, right? He was one of the top performing fantasy players in that first game, right? So he got 3 wickets.
Yeah. And he also in one of the recent England game, he came out to bat at 3 and hit a 50. So that's always going to be the thing that you promote somebody for getting game time and with good points.
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, आप सैंटनर को भेज सकते हो, उन दोनों को मत भेजो.
Okay, let's see if there's a hat trick, guys. What's your gut feel? Hat trick to end up the game?
Could well be. I think वो Yorker मारेगा.
The last time India saw a hat trick in a game against the Minnows was Shami.
I think
Afghanistan.
Swinging length ball.
But Afghanistan didn't play like a winner in that game. They almost
that is true.
Such
that
a
is
close
true.
game.
I want Arshdeep to bowl a bumper here, like how he got Asif.
I think he has a better chance of gaining a hat trick with the Yorker.
With the Yorker indeed. Oh, he goes for the Yorker. Team hat trick? No. Yeah, but so it's going to be a 71-run win. Essentially, net run rate is going to hugely help us. And we play South Africa on Sunday. That's going to be a game. That's going to be
that is a game I'm waiting for alongside New Zealand playing Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
That could also be a really, really good game.
But yeah, I'm getting vibes, and I know this might age as well as milk, but I'm getting vibes that India might just be unbeaten in the whole competition. Jamie is also a player.
That's not a vibe. That's a bias.
I just think if they're going to lose one match, it's going to be Perth against that bowling attack on Sunday. That's it. But the net runner is very healthy. No problem nahi hai. Baki, if they can just get past this match, then World Cup is coming to India. But this match with those, like you mentioned, the depth, Nikhil, this attack is, very good.
Yeah, next.
Yeah, I think that will be one of the best challenges to see. I don't think we've seen any such contest where you have, they could play Jansen as well, drop Samshi, play Jansen, and then That could be a very good attack to face.
Yeah, Jensen in
And,
the house.
Yeah. Bavuma is going to score a 50 in the least likely game, and do not be surprised if that is the one, because
Okay,
that's what
can
India
you do this? If India win against South Africa, can they drop the game against Zimbabwe or Bangladesh just to mess up the table and just rob either Pakistan or South Africa a place in the semis?
That would be amazing.
They will be doing the favor to a
Ingenious.
team in semi-final.
But final.
Even if it doesn't happen, this clip will go viral if something happens like BCCI, ICC, whatever it is coming. But no, honestly speaking, I think it is a good game to test out Hardik as well in that particular contest, because you want to see the Perth is a kind of venue where you will want to see more of Hardik, not at Sydney or some other ground. So very interested to see how the two teams bat. We could see a lot of uncalled promotions as well, I feel, that day. Just depending on how the wicket is, because batting hasn't been easy in Perth. So very interested to see. Even 130 has looked like a scrap. So it should be a mouth-watering contest.
Yeah.
Jamie, if you were Dravid right now, would you stick with the same settled unit, or would you change things only if push comes to shove? Like if there's a niggle, understandably so, but would you stick with this team?
Yeah.
Would you stick with this team more importantly?
See, look, Perth, I think unless Nathan Lyon is playing there, very few bowlers are going to get a perfect bounce off that track. So two spinners for Perth, based on what we've seen here, I don't think it's happening. And this is where India being rigid is going to have to be tested, because, again, if you had a Umran Malik, I say, ek match ke liye, you sit out Akshar Patel and play him. Who's the next option? Unfortunately, it's only Harshal Patel, who's not got a lot of confidence. Coming back to Marco Jansen, I think it's a no-brainer that they will play him, because the way Kane Williamson got that test match spell out of him in that match when he got Virat Kohli, they put in like 3 slips and he nicked the ball there. So just on that basis, and of course Perth's reputation.
He's
I would say Marco
No.
Jansen. No, the IPL. In the IPL.
Oh, okay, sorry. My
How
bad.
can you forget? This was
Sorry, I don't remember all these failures Virat has got. It's just bygones are bygones.
You asked me who won the last year IPL. I couldn't tell you, but that spell was so rare, because it was like such an acha Virat, come. Let's put in 2 slips. It was a real like how Gambhir used to bring like 5 catches for Dhoni. Anyways, my point is that situation and Perth moving condition. If there's any overcast, rain or or cloud cover, Jansen is pakka playing. But I think I would drop one spinner and play another fast bowler, only for Perth.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And India won.
And India, by the way, have won in this whole chat and hullabaloo that we're having. Like 56 runs, the magical number. And that, like we said, will do them a world of good for their net run rate. And it was inevitable, some would say. But look, never be sure with the rain around. But India got 4 points, more importantly. And that will sit well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the 3 boundaries. India off-late have struggled against death batters, tail-enders.
But yeah, positives like Jamie said, Ashwin, of course, Surya, no-brainer. Without getting runs, Rohit getting some runs, even though it was a sticky 50. Nix, any other big positives from India?
Rain staying away.
Rain staying away. Akshar Patel getting good wickets and points for me. So both of them very crucial. I think these are the games where you don't want to slip up, with no disrespect to any country nation, because weather has not been kind to most nations. So you'll want to just keep the momentum going. Happy that they didn't change the side as well. I thought they could have easily rested Hardik, because they didn't use him much. I didn't see him getting enough overs as well on this particular wicket. So just that he's fit as well. Shami's got a good run through. So I think overall, just like a professional day out. And let's see how they go ahead for the South Africa game.
Yeah, ruthless, clinical, emphatic, all of that. But I want to ask you guys if there is an obvious man in the match here. Am I missing something? Will they give it to someone? Jamie, what's your gut feel?
किसी को तो देंगे.
I mean, look, given the struggles of the openers, I mean, you look at someone like Suryakumar Yadav, what he did to get them to that big total. I think once they crossed 160, the match was in the bag. Again, the wickets are pretty much spread, and that between the two disciplines, batting is Netherlands' weaker point. They have good bowlers, 3 good quicks. One of them is a left armer. I would go between Virat Kohli and Suryakumar Yadav. I would say Sky, just for the impact.
Yeah.
Agree?
Agreed.
Yeah, Sky.
I think it's sort of obvious to me.
There's no bowlers which kind of come in contention, or not really.
I think the match was already taken away from
Yeah, we
Netherlands after
battered
that.
them out.
Sky and Kohli.
And I
were
think they've all got 2 each. So
9 for 2.
Good spell, but that's of course. We spoke about how Bhuvi gets the job done against all these smaller nations, so that was a no-brainer.
Sky 25 or 51.
Or we will give it to Priya for taking 2 catches. Who needs to be in the playing 11?
But it was good to see that they didn't actually overuse Hardik, just the 1 over, because he normally is a very scary sort of situation with his injury.
Him and Bhuvi as well, actually.
Even
So
Bhuvi
Bhuvi ka ek over kam aur Hardik ko ek over.
Balance out.
Yeah, so India getting the job done in Sydney. All eyes and roads rather read to
I think it
Perth
was a
next.
perfect game for India. They ticked all boxes except KL Rahul firing again.
Yeah.
Uske alawa sab kuch, everything, every little piece has come together. Akshan taking wickets, Ashwin taking wickets.
Yeah.
Bhuvi bowling at economical. New ball spell also taking wickets. Rohit scoring a 50. Virat continuing his form.
Surya getting back in the fold. Yeah.
Rahul को छोड़ के सबने अच्छा किया है अपना सबने अपना काम करा है.
Yeah, but it's been a good day in the office for India. It's been a good day for us, for the watch-along as well. We really appreciate Cricket and, of course, Jamie Alter for making their presence felt. And you guys can catch them hopefully on Sunday when we see arguably the top 2 teams in Group 2, India, South Africa, compete at Perth. And many of them are skeptical, as you heard, but definitely, if you're an Indian fan, you're buzzing right now.
Sky is the
man of the match. So, yeah, well done, guys, to call it right. Many would say it was an easy call, but look. Thanks so much, Jamie and Cricket for making your presence felt. It's been fun to have you guys. And all you guys in the comments below, really appreciate it to get involved in this chat. Much more watch-alongs, of course. Tomorrow, be here similar time as in 1:30.
Yeah.
It's a start, England, Australia. That'll be a good one as well. We have an English Brighton fan journalist, and we also have an Aussie if he turns up, because Australia, after that first one, is still crying over spilt milk. Enough of me, enough of the boys. Thanks so much for watching. It's been deeply appreciated. Like I said, what are the plans now, boys? Early day off?
Dan has not responded, so maybe we can. And I think we used enough of him yesterday.
Yeah. So we'll hold on to Dan a little bit.
Maybe chat with him after tomorrow's game. That would be.
Absolutely. Yeah, join us for the England-Australia one. And if you guys have anything to ask Dan Weston, just shoot it in the comments below. And we promise you we'll ask him that. Dan Christian, Virat Kohli, good old friends, RCB days, discussing stuff. Oh, and Van der Merwe, that's like throwback. Thank you. Hope it won't rain tomorrow. Fingers crossed, Vasant. Fingers crossed. Bye, bro. Thanks a ton, saying Srivatsan. Appreciate all your time. It's a goodbye from us at cricket.com. India winning big. That's all that matters. Goodbye and good night, wherever you are.